And welcome to 540 Studio, There Beyond Season 3. Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Hope everyone is doing well. It's good to be here. And of course, I'm here today with two of my co hosts, of course, Mr. Baron Orman Tag, and of course,
Yo,
Mr. Cash Money. How are you guys?
that's Monet. Remember, he's hoity-toity.
He's a little posh, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Mhm. Mr. Beverly Hills living up there, and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, the rich boy.
yeah, yeah. I tell you,
Yeah,
And
Beverly
and what
Hills
and what
Finest.
and what do we normally call that in Norway? We call them dad boys. That's kind of our term for
oh,
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, there's many movies that are filmed in this neighborhood. If you look carefully, you can see him in the window
mm,
looking out the house.
yeah, no.
Exactly.
Eating
But
macaroni and
no.
cheese that they gave him.
We
Yeah,
got
yeah,
we
right.
got some nice perks the last time they were here
Mhm,
filming.
mhm.
Mm, yeah.
The whole
Uh,
neighborhood did. Yeah.
yeah. And other than that, Baron, what have you been up to? How are you doing, man? And we got your mic to finally work.
Yeah, I don't know what fully screwed that up, but now we got it. I got it working. I don't know what I did, but I got it working. So I'm a happy, happy camper. Happy, happy,
Yep.
joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. So,
Yep.
so yeah, I'm very, very happy about that. And yeah, here I am. Yeah, just got some food today and took care of the puppers and
Yeah.
looked at some stuff, watched some watched some YouTube earlier, and you know
Oh,
the good
nice.
things. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, of course. And what about you, Cash? What have you been up to? How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling all right. Just watching stuff and working on things always, trying to stay busy. Mhm.
Yeah. Are you feeling a little sick or something? You sound a little sick.
Nah, I'm all right.
Okay, I just had to. You sounded
It's
a
my
little sick.
fault. I called him earlier and woke him up, and he was kind of cranky.
Oh, that's it. Okay, that's why.
It's all Baron's fault. He's like,
Yeah,
hey, I
it's
was
all
like,
about his
hey, leave me
fault.
alone.
No,
Leave me alone,
feels that way.
man.
Like, I just
I'm.
wanted to talk to you quickly. Just about tomorrow, man. We still need to talk a little bit about that. So
Yeah, we do. We'll talk about that
yeah,
later.
yeah. I mean, yeah, half hour. That's all I gotta say. Half hour. That's probably.
Yes, something like that.
Yes. I know for
See,
me.
we're planning shows on your show. See that how we work?
Yeah, yeah,
Screw you,
exactly.
Jace. We're gonna talk about our show
Dun,
and our planning
Yeah, yeah,
dun,
yeah,
dun,
exactly,
dun.
exactly.
because we're asking you.
Uh, but no, for me, I've been relaxing today. I've not been feeling too well. Like I said, I ate some meat earlier that I think upset my stomach a little bit. So, my stomach is not the most happiest person right now, you know. But it is what it is. Sometimes when we order food, sometimes it's 50-50. Sometimes you get bad food.
See, he actually had real food today instead of scavenging through the garbage looking for that
Yeah,
meal.
exactly.
That's what
Yeah.
happened. Too rich. It was too rich, too
Yeah, too
fancy,
rich food, yeah.
and you need to get adjusted to that hot, how you say hot food that they have out there called Burger King.
Yeah.
You
And other
got a
than that,
Beyond Burger, didn't you? You got a Whopper Beyond. That's the problem.
oh no, are you crazy? I don't even know if we have a Whopper beyond there. Don't even know.
Um,
Don't
yeah,
even
I
know.
I don't even know if they still got them. They were a failure.
Yeah, they
I tried
were,
to
they
buy to
were.
my daughters one time, and it was like, yeah, no, I will never go out there and eat one of those because she wanted to try it out. She wanted to
Yeah.
try it, and it's like, okay,
Yeah,
fine.
I have
You're a
tried beyond.
teenage, yeah, you're a
Yeah, no,
teenage blonde haired mop is typical.
yeah, no, I have tried beyond and some vegan stuff, and they taste like shit,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
look moldy and shit.
Oh, some look absolutely horrible.
Exactly. Some of them do just look really horrible. And other than that, I've just been relaxing, been watching some movies, a little bit YouTube, and just been working on some stuff. Just trying to relax a little. That's been my day mostly. actually. It's been really really normal day for me. Yeah, not done much.
Sorry to hear that, Nordy. The ones we have around here are pretty good. I have to admit they're good here, but I suppose it can probably change from area to area and franchisee and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So.
no, normally Burger King where I live is fucking amazing.
Hmm.
A lot of good stuff, and I eat a lot of stuff there, of course, when I get the time and when I feel for it, of course. But today was just not one of those days, and it also depends on who is making the burgers and stuff like that. You know, I've had this happen before in other places
Well,
where, oh, sorry, that was an accident, Kilted.
Yeah, sure, yeah,
well,
I
you
was
see,
moving my mouse. I was
fine,
moving my.
welcome over here.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
it,
no, but
Dun.
that was just a problem, I guess. But it's all good. And also, we have
well,
Kilted here. Hey, brother.
Hello,
well,
hello.
see, the thing is, hey, Kelton, one last thing before I just have to say, you had to pick the time the guy that scratches his ass at the grill was working. So
Is it,
that's all I had to say. Back to you, Cajun. Let us
are
know how
you?
you're doing today,
Yeah, how
man.
are you, Manny? How are you doing? What
Yeah,
you been up
man, come
to?
on.
What's going on with your mic, Baron?
My
Or is it
mic is
supposed to be them?
it's like yours right
It's
now.
like mine.
Well, like yours, you know.
You-
I don't know. I'm having mic issues, man.
Mic issues.
Mic
Okay.
issues.
He
But
kind
now
of
it
sounds like
works.
he's in a helicopter. So
Yeah.
I'm in a helicopter.
Very echo. Very.
Oh,
It's just very echoey.
I don't hear any
let me take.
echoing or something like that. If you're talking
You're
about.
dead.
Let me take a
I
look
can
here. Let me
hear him
take.
though.
Are you? Well, I mean, I can hear you,
Yeah,
no problem. It's just check to
yeah,
see if
yeah,
you're on
yeah.
the correct microphone. That's all.
Yeah, you know, we have been doing that
How's that?
before.
How's that?
About the same.
Hmm.
Boom, 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 boom,
Oh,
boom.
How about
that
I was
that?
now we
dead.
hear.
I was mostly dead yesterday, but now I've recovered. I could I legitimately couldn't sit up straight. Just like I'd sit down, I'd just start falling over.
He has.
Or did
But
my mic go out now?
no, 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 no.
No, we hear you.
Oh,
Just keep the mic the way it is, Baron. We hear you fine, so
Oh
don't
no, yeah,
worry about
I do. I just wasn't sure
it.
if he was aware, but that's all. Wondering if he was on a different, like either the headset mic or.
yeah. I don't have. I just have the.
Gotcha.
Maybe when I get some money, I should get another one, a new one.
I
Yeah.
mean, what is
But
that?
now
a
you
HyperX?
at least we
That's
got it
fine.
to work today. Like work a lot better. We can hear you a lot better than last time when we did the show on mic and stuff like that. And that's the most important part.
Yeah,
So don't worry
better than the
about it.
other night.
I
I
Yeah.
sure was
swear,
better
but
than the other night.
that's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
clip. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yesterday we did the watch party with, of course, Pacific 414, and I have to
Hmm.
say, fucking Restream sucks, fucking donkey
Oh
balls.
God,
God
I was
damn it.
thinking of going there, because Mike was using it, but after the two experiences I had with Restream with him, no, no way in hell, no way in hell. That
Oh, disconnected
the
me, kicked me out multiple times, lost audio.
that was me.
Uh,
Ooh.
yeah, and it's just like everything, with Restream. So
Hmm.
no, we are gonna here on 540. We are gonna keep using StreamYard. Me and Prismatics are paying for it, and
Mm,
it's all good. I wish one thing, StreamYard, if you are listening, please make it so I can add more people as moderators for the StreamYard, because for
mm,
the price I am paying right now, one of the highest prices we're paying, I think that should be a thing, because I kind of want to get all my panelists in my company, please, to be allowed to, of course, do stuff and stuff like that. But other than that, Kilted, how are you? What have you been up to?
recovering from death yesterday, but other than that, yeah, just it's been a day, just a regular day of driving from one end of the planet to the other, and making it home on one piece.
Yeah, and yeah, that's good.
I ordered my
And
PC. I ordered my
oh,
PC. It's
nice,
coming in hopefully next
that's
week.
good.
Yay.
And of course, let's say hail to Snorapoopa. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing good.
Snorter. SnorterPoopusCuber.com. There, got to do it right. Got to do it right.
Okay, gotta do it right. Gotta do it right. And
Hmm.
of course, we do have Hunty. Hail to you, Hunty. It's
Oh,
good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And of course, hi, Kilted. Hi to
Hi.
you. And of
nice of you to
course,
join us in the chat.
we do have Phil McCracken in the house, the biggest troll on YouTube.
Yeah, but
Um,
he needs to have some cock to seal up that McCracken of his.
yes, tomorrow when we see more of hashtag Team Epic Fail, failing where no one others have failed before.
Like I said, State of Decay 2 is amazing. We got through that game without a death. Well, I mean, our death. The zombies, however, didn't do so well.
Yep. And Hunty also said, just finished a short of my favorite makeup artist showing his next tutorial. All I know that it's a character from Digital Circus. Cool.
It's a good show.
Ooh.
Amazing Digital Circus. It's fantastic. It's good.
Uh, yeah, and Snorda said, I dislike Booger thing. They went downhill years ago.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. Like I said, I'm lucky the one we got here just across the river. They're pretty darn good. And, you know, maybe it goes by some of the franchisees and how they run stuff. I mean, but,
And it also depends who's behind the grill, who's making
hmm
stuff, and all that. Sometimes there are good people, sometimes there is shitty people who doesn't know how to make a simple burger or anything like that.
like Charles Schumer, with his
Yeah.
staged photo op of putting cheese on a raw burger on a grill. Yeah, that's how you do it. You're one of the people.
Yeah. No, exactly. So we are also gonna get into some articles, but Cash is BRB, so Cash
Oh
get
yes. Oh, here we go. Come on, time for us to dive in. Let's get a cash money, folks. Oh, before we do dive in, though, I did have one thing, though, and yeah, well, no, it is political, but I'm absolutely laughing. Someone actually did the ultimate troll name for our governor, Timmy Walls, who's of course Kamala Harris's running mate, and they've been
Yep,
calling him Mr. Garrison. And I thought,
that's
oh, that
great.
is
That's
a proper name. And I'm waiting for it to come out about even more so about his little expedition with the young lad to movies, gay bars, and his personal home at night by himself that he lost a job on. Yeah, he's
yeah, that's
Mr.
great.
Garrison. He's
Mr.
Mr. Garrison.
Garrison of all the names they could think
Oh
of.
no, yeah. I mean, I've been calling
Yeah.
him Baby Huey and all stuff, but when I heard that Mr. Garrison's like, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Ah.
that is great. God. Oh no. But yeah, it's not many days to the election when you think about it
Nope.
either. So that's gonna be an interesting night.
Hmm.
And we're gonna be
Yeah, you're
with
gonna be joining us, right?
yeah, well, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
with you guys on the stream, and it's gonna be interesting. And of course, you always have to be wary. I don't trust how they run things when it's gonna come to the
Yeah.
election. So
Hmm.
we need to just hope for the best and pray to whatever God you believe in that everything will go well and it's not gonna be rigged this time.
Well, yeah. I think the momentum is so strong with Mr. 45 to become Mr. 47 right now. He's doing all the right things, and Ms. VP has been doing all the wrong things, and she's been pissing off people. I think there is a huge, I think there's a bigger gap between those two than they
Yeah.
wanted to back then. Oh, it's only at 2%. No, no, no. I think we can start going to double digits now about the
Yep.
differences, but they don't want to let that out. But the long suffering and I, we're going to be going on Saturday to vote, And I don't think you need to guess who I'm voting for or the missus. Actually, like I said, she is more worked up about all this than me.
Really?
Believe it or not. Oh hell yeah!
Because I
You
know
know,
how worked up you are with that, but she's more than that. Wow.
she's been just glomming on to everything she can do, and occasionally I hear the bullshit from the living room, and it's like, yeah, I know what she's listening to there. But yeah,
I need to
she
be
is.
careful what I say today.
Mhm. And I'm so happy I red pilled her 13 years ago. I
Yeah.
mean, and you know what it took? You know what it took? It just took conversations and talking
Yeah.
and saying, what's this? And are these your values that they're wanting? When you're having a sensible conversation with someone, you can either convert them or they could possibly convert me, myself or, somebody else. Or just agree to disagree and still be harmonious. It's amazing when you have a conversation. And I had
Yeah.
many conversations with the long suffering. So
Yeah. No, exactly.
yeah, now I fear I created a monster.
Yeah, you basically have then, but
Mhm.
that's so fun when you make someone more riled up and then what you are, and you're just like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I created a goddamn monster. But goddamn, I love that monster, that's how you feel,
I do. Yeah, I have to. I have to, or I get hurt. But then
Yeah,
then of
yeah.
course Mike. Yeah, and Mike voted a couple of days ago, and he said the one thing that made me happy to hear. He said they made him show his ID, and that was
Yep,
music to his ears, my ears. That's what we need.
yep. Voter
Hmm.
ID.
Right. If anybody out there is afraid that Trump is going to pull shenanigans and steal this election, you need to have voter ID.
Yep. And I like that. It's good to have voter ID.
Yeah.
ID.
Hmm. So, yeah, exactly.
Yep. And Cash Money still not back.
Yeah, well,
Back now.
he's
What's up?
Oh,
well,
he's back.
I
he
was just
doesn't want to
listening to
say he
Baron.
did early. He was early voting for Kamala in
Ha!
Gavin.
Oh, he
Right.
was what? Okay, goodbye. Uh,
Wow, what happened, man?
wow.
That's
I don't know,
weird.
man.
It was like glitching in the system. Okay.
Yeah, that was a big glitch in the system.
Hmm.
Are you using restream again? Damn it!
Oh God.
No, Restream's only
Uh,
good for certain things.
Yeah, knocking people
yeah.
off like this happened here.
Yeah. When we're streaming, on if you ever do on Restream, what's gonna happen? This is gonna happen.
Wow.
Wow.
Do ba do
No,
ba do ba do ba do
no,
ba
he
do
was
ba
going
do
to get his
Um,
kale
ba
wrapped
do.
tofu
No.
teriyaki flavored. No, he's California boy.
Yeah,
I
he's a
was gonna get
Californian
a
man.
poster of Henry for Hunty, and then I was never gonna give it to her. I was giving it to someone else. Oh, I know.
Oh, that's mean.
That is mean, man. Oh God. Even I'm not that mean.
I'm not that mean, and I'm pretty mean.
Yeah,
What
same here.
the
We all can be
hell,
mean,
Oh,
but
man?
he's mean,
I
yeah.
know. I know. It's terrible.
Cash, well, why are you so mean, brother?
Sometimes.
That's like saying you're going to get that skimpy autographed Jenna Ortega poster
Oh,
when
for
they're wearing that
Jason,
and
Yeah, for
for
and
me.
not
Casey
give it to him, give
Castaneda.
it to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Find a
Oh
bigger simp.
God. Yeah.
I just, is
Find
there
a
a
bigger
bigger
simp
simp
than
for
Jace.
her? I
There's
don't think
gotta
there's a
be a
bigger.
bigger simp.
No, I
There's
don't
gotta
think
be a
so.
bigger
He's the
simp,
king.
man. There's
He's the
gotta
king.
be.
Yeah, apparently
I
I
disagree
am
with
the
you, Cash.
biggest simp according to you guys and my father and my half sister and all my friends.
Yeah, take the hint, man. Take the hint.
Simping is such a major turnoff to women.
Just like, when my friend sent me that goddamn picture as me as the new Crow, and then he added in Jenna Ortega and said, Crow, the simp never dies. So that's apparently the news will come out, according to him.
Yep.
But I'm not a simp. I'm not a simp. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna hear it for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Everybody, please put an X in the chat for doubt. Okay.
Oh, it's all fun. It's all fun. But we are gonna get into some articles and some news. It's a good segue to get out of this. But recently, today, I'm just gonna say, not gonna spoil the movie, but I watched a
Oh,
new Venom. I watched a new Venom movie. I ex. God damn it, Humpty.
That's right. That's right.
And hail to Joe, hail to you, brother. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good, brother. Good to see you. If you haven't subscribed to him, please subscribe to him. He's a goddamn good YouTuber. But no, I watched a new Venom movie,
Oh,
and I was highly disappointed. Of course, it's better than the second one, but the only good thing with the whole movie for me was the end of the whole movie with the end fights, the end battle, and I'm not gonna say what happened, but that is the only good part of it was the action in the end. That was the only part that I liked
did they
mostly.
go in that weird direction, stupid direction, like they did in the second one with Venom and Brock, or did they get away from that?
You have to decide yourself when you watch it. You have to decide yourself with that
Uh-huh.
one.
I think I know why you're saying that. I heard a couple of spoilers reviews on it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like,
Boy.
I think I know why you're
Mm,
saying that. About what is it?
yeah.
Halfway through the movie?
Kilted knows me there, yeah.
Oh boy, if they go through that shit again, that is just stupid.
And
Here
yeah,
I am, your dancing
and
queen.
I'm
Sorry.
just gonna say, I hated the character Null from before, and I hated him even more in this movie. Null was a stupid character back in the comics too. Because again, I'm gonna say it like this: the writer of Null in the comics didn't know what Clintar was. He didn't really know what the species of Venom was. So he just when he had, goddamn, oh, we're gonna have the god of symbiotes, and I'm just like, why can't you just fucking call it, the god of the Clintars, the creator of Clintars, the god of Clintars, because that's their species.
Did you
Because
feel like this is one of those movies that could have set up Spider-Man being in there? Like Spider-Man should have been there at some point, or because
not in
obviously I
this
doubt.
one, but
Oh,
I will say there is something happening. There is something in the end that kind of teases that they're gonna continue in a way with Null's character. How I don't know. How I don't know.
okay.
And
I don't
and
know.
even in this movie, Null is still, of course, they use the goddamn same thing that he's king of the symbiotes and stuff like that. And again, we humans call them symbiotes, not this stupid character. And the CGI was not particularly good on him either. And he sounded way too much like Gollum. Oh, that's not weird. That's because it's the same actor.
He was looking for his
Oh,
precious.
really? Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
okay.
the same actor. Yeah.
I bring yes.
And the funny thing with Null, when the first time I saw him in the comics, he looked like Lich King from World of Warcraft, one of my
Yeah.
favorite storylines. But he looked like Lich King from World of Warcraft on drugs, a skinny, drugged up addict of yeah, Lich King, and they made him look really heavily like Lich King in this movie, and he looks like he's on hardcore drugs.
Uh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
and
But the action
Mm,
was good. You like the
the
action.
action in the ending was the best action of all the movies. It was good action. That was the only part that I liked. The only annoying at the end with the action is that certain Clintars, not gonna say which type of Clintars, but we get a couple of them. And they kind of did some weird stuff with some of the Clintars, especially one of them who
I'm
needs to
shocked.
who
Yeah.
needs to stop eating burgers on McDonald's and Burger King. Uh, they kind. It's just like certain people just get killed off really fast. Certain characters gets killed off really fast. It's like, oh, cool! Finally, we see more of these species, and yeah, won't spoil. A lot of them die.
Oh
They die.
no. Shocked.
Wow, a lot of them
I
die.
am shocked, man.
Yeah,
Shocked.
and right now, I'm not the biggest fan of Rotten Tomatoes normally, but
Nobody is.
Rotten Tomatoes, because this is what we're gonna get into. Venom: The Last Dance. I still don't like the name Last Dance. I always thought it was weird from the beginning.
Yeah, that is a weird name. I agree. I
Hmm.
get what they're getting at, but still, I'm just could have been called something else.
Yeah. And I know some of the critics. I've read some of the critics, and we also went through some of the critics on Comic Relief Crusader. If you haven't subscribed to him, please do. Great guy.
Yeah.
So we went through some of the reviews, but at least they were more honest reviews, not by chat GPT. Um, and for the people there, some of them said, it's not the greatest movie. It had its flaws and stuff like that, but no, it was still entertaining as a movie and stuff like that. So they were more fair to the movie in that kind of sense. It's like, okay, that's good. When you have like fair review, that's one thing we're missing. Either that you're gonna have shills who are just chilling for it, or you're gonna have people hate it just to hate it. But I like the people in the middle who is giving, talking about, the fair chain, detailed of what they didn't like and what they liked, etc., etc. Like I do too. I like the action. The story was not particularly good. It's better than the second one. That's all I can say. At least it was better than the second one. But that's a low bar, if you know what I mean. For me personally. Um, and Joe said, never was a Venom fan. I'm a big Venom fan, and that's why it kind of hurts.
I'm shocked.
Hurts.
I'm really
Yeah,
shocked.
yeah. Venom. It's Venom. Come on. And just enjoy the OG Rogues Gallery. My nephew's son love him though. Yeah. And Hunty said, my precious and ring. Yeah. Well, if Henry Cavill might have your precious, who knows?
Go on.
And is this the final Venom film? According to Tom Hardy and them, yes. But they did set up that Null will be back in the end of the movie.
Did Venom have some good any good humor?
Mm.
No.
A
Okay.
lot of the humor just felt off.
Okay.
I did not laugh a lot.
Got it.
This movie was more comedy than the two other movies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not particularly
Okay.
fond of that. They are pushing the PG-13 a lot, pushing, trying they did say certain words,
Yes.
They pushed it, and that's great. I'm gonna give them that they pushed it, but it should have been already moved from the get-go. One tiny bit spoiler, you barely see Null, and they make him like the big bad through the whole movie. You barely see him in the movie. It's just a couple of scenes of him talking, and you see him and talking where he's basically trapped. That's it. The only spoiler I would give. So yeah, they're hyping up this character, and he's barely in the movie. It's just his monsters that are the villains. you know
Yeah. Yeah.
how to try to hype people up for a big villain. We're just gonna show him some minutes, some seconds and minutes on the screen, but nothing more.
I don't know. I just felt like I didn't mind the humor and stuff, but always when it came to Venom, I'm like, well, I don't really think of Venom as a joke. Like, haha, that's just funny. But like
He has
they had
certain
some good
jokes in the
lines.
comics, but in the
Oh, he
old
did.
comics,
Okay.
yeah, in
Hmm.
the older comics when they used comedy, it worked. As we talked about the Crow yesterday, to humor worked. It felt organic,
Because
right?
my first introduction to Venom was the animated show in the '90s.
Yeah,
So I was like, oh shit, this is
yeah.
badass. Yeah.
I would use Last Dance if the main character was a showman type in personality. Yeah. Spider-Man 4 properly. Who knows? Even Tom Hardy came out and talked about it. Never say never because he wants to work with Tom Holland. But yeah, in this movie, a certain thing happens to a certain character. So who knows? If he ever comes back, he has to become the King of the Black or whatever they called it again in the comics and a movie. He has to be like the King of the Black or Black King or whatever they called it again. Some weird
Mm.
shit. He has to take the role of Knoll, basically, if they're
But at
gonna do
least this
that.
movie was longer than the second one, so that's something. Is that right?
It
I think
it,
it
it
is.
went it was still short. It went over like this. It,
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
it went over like that.
Wow. Okay.
um,
Mhm.
back to work. Be good, fellas. Good. Yeah. See you later, brother. Hope you're doing
No, we're
good.
not going to be good.
You
Do you know what show this is?
Yeah, exactly. But the first batch of Venom, The Last Dance, reviews are hitting Rotten Tomatoes, and the critics aren't holding back. Worth mentioning is the critics didn't like either of the first two flicks. For me, I really enjoyed the first movie. I thought it was not the best movie I've ever seen, but I heavily enjoyed it. Again, the only thing that was missing from the movie that would have made the movie a better movie was Spider-Man. That's how many years have we been wanting Spider-Man and Venom back on live action screen? Last
Yeah,
time
from
we
when
had yeah, cause last time we saw that was in Spider-Man 3. It I still enjoy the movie. It's not the best movie, but I still enjoy it
Has
for
some problems, but
yeah.
yeah, it's
There are parts with it that a lot of people like. But Venom was the biggest mistake in the movie. Even the goddamn actor came out and talked about it, and he talked, when Topher said himself, "I was the wrong cast for the character. It made no sense why I was cast as
it
Eddie
was
Brock and
I don't
Venom."
know. I thought it was better than what happened with Sandman. I think the strongest thing about Spider-Man 3, of course, was Spider-Man's buddy. He was a strong who became Goblin.
New
I think
Goblin,
that was yeah.
Harry Osborn from New
Hmm,
Goblin,
yeah.
yeah.
James Franco's character.
Other than the suit,
Yeah, right. The
other
suit.
than the goddamn snowboard style suit as a snowboarder. Um, but the problem again, we had the most failure of how Venom looked and was in that movie, unfortunately. And again, Venom is gonna be big. He's gonna be menacing. He wasn't really any of those things in that movie. But that was like the first and last time we saw them in live action together, and it would have been great to get them together in a good movie again. But the first flick, I enjoyed it for what it was. Even though it had its issues here and there, should have been longer, R-rated, but I still enjoyed it. It reminded me of if you guys remember the game Prototype.
I remember of it.
Yeah,
Played
that's
it.
what
But,
that's basically how I felt. I love Prototype, the first one, and that's what also watching Venom 1 reminded me of. It was that game because it's really similar in so many aspects. And then, of course, we had Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. And
yeah.
like I said, there are parts in it that I enjoy, but that's mostly with
Yeah.
Venom and Eddie themselves, mostly.
There's a few lines in there that I felt that
Yeah.
were okay, but that movie was too short and it just it had problems. Yeah.
Yeah, I see you're laughing, Baron. I know.
Hey, Tim.
What's up, Tim?
Here is your white lady.
Definitely not.
Wow.
I think if anybody on the panel killed it, will fit that better.
well,
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
Wow.
because
go.
skirted. Yeah, his sister skirted. Yeah, right. But before we get more into
There you
this,
go. There you go.
there we go. There we have
Oh,
your
there you
ginger
go.
white lady. You
A
happy there, Tim? You happy?
A
You
redhead
happy?
too.
um, but no. Who on this panel other than Cash have seen the movies? I'm looking at Baron and Kilted.
Didn't it just like come
Yeah.
out today?
Yeah, I haven't watched the third one, of course. But
Yeah, so I'm talking about the two other movies.
Oh no,
I haven't
unfortunately, no, I haven't.
nah.
I need to. There's
The
a
first
lot of movies I
one,
need to
the
catch up
first
on.
one, I
Telling me to
think,
watch it.
the first one I think is okay, and there is some good humor, and of course Venom is always the best because of his humor. But then the second one, they do some weird ass shit, and if people are like,
Coming out of
"Oh,
Eddie
I
closet.
don't feel that," yeah, I just
At basically a gay club, a rave gay club.
it's just also Venom makes some political statement too in the second movie, and you're like, "What the effing fuck?" Seriously, it's not good. So
Yep. And then, of course, our other co-host who's on a break, Techno Sapien Geek. Hail, brother. I hope you're doing better, man. I hope you're doing better. Hope
Yeah.
you're doing well. And hope you're enjoying some time off, brother. We love you, man. We love you, buddy. And he said, love the first. The second was meh. Yeah, and that is fair. There was a lot of people who enjoyed the first one. But then, of course, we got the second one. And then we got the third one. At least it's better than the second one. Doesn't say much, but at least it was better because the action. For me, at least, it was the action that it should have been. It should have been rated R. It in the beginning of the first movie, it was filmed R rated. So there are 40 minutes away from the movie that was R rated. That was cut. And Tom Hardy talked about it and said that was my favorite parts of the movie. Those 40 minutes was his favorite parts of the movie.
Maybe it would have made the movie better. I mean, really. Maybe them chopping down that movie made it to this mess that you're talking about.
The reason they did it was because of the deal with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because they wanted
But-
to do something with that. But they really didn't, really.
No.
They
But,
really never.
When you have 40 minutes cut out like that, what good scenes, what good things were in there?
We don't know. We know there were
Yeah.
some action scenes that Tom Hardy really liked. And according to him, that is scenes at least me and Cash would have probably liked with Venom. So we don't know all the things that got taken away, but it was a lot with those 40 minutes that at least Tom Hardy was really proud of and really was in love with. But the movie was too short. It was really a rushed movie. The first one was really rushed. It should have been longer and better executed on certain parts. But still, overall, a decent movie, the first one. I still enjoy it. And Tom said, mental health is okay, but working on it. I miss you all. Hugs. We miss you too, brother. We miss you too. And when you're ready to come back after your break, you know where to find us. We're here, man.
I mean, I'm using your chair as a footrest, but I'll give it up when you get back. So just don't mind the the foot stuff, prints on there.
Yep.
There you go, Hunter. Sorry.
There we go. The Karen.
The Kilted Karen.
The Kilted Karen.
Yeah.
I like that.
I am not mentally stable. So
I don't think any of us are actually kilted.
What's that?
I don't think any of us are, to be honest with you, kilted.
Oh no. No. But they actually gave Let There Be Carnage a higher score than the first Venom. Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes again. It's not always trustable with certain things. Never been a big fan of them when it comes to certain things. But let's see here. The Rotten Tomatoes score from the critics for the first Venom stands only at 30%. For Let There Be Carnage is 57%. I feel that's a little bit wrong with certain things, but more people have. It's more proven that a lot of people like the first one, did not like the second one.
Mhm.
Rotten Tomatoes fan scores are 80 for the first Venom movie and 84 for Let There Be Carnage. Pretty much the
Hmm.
same. Um, and again, I will say this: even though the movie was not great, I love this poster. Like this poster right here, for the movie is goddamn amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it's a cool
Me and
poster. I like it
Yeah,
too. Mhm.
and me and Comic Relief Crusader, we talked about this. Marvel, you're missing out. You can make a cool cover with this. You could do something
Yeah.
goddamn cool with this and make a cool story out of this. They could have just,
Yeah.
you get a lot of ideas when you see this. I just love it. It's really good.
Well, basically, it's go back to the basics how they used to do covers.
Yeah. What is the Venom The Last Dance Rotten Tomato score? 37%
Mm.
of only 71 reviews. With the first 57 reviews, Venom has a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes score. Thursday, with 71 reviews, the score has dropped to 37%.
Mm.
Um, the reviews are largely mixed to negative, with some critics acknowledging its fun moments. While many others express disappointment, general consensus from the critics is that while Venom: The Last Dance offers chaotic fun and visuals, yeah, the visuals was okay until you see Null. That's when the visuals really was off. It kind of just felt that they pushed him in, you know, they didn't finish it up. Like that was like a last thing they wanted to do is to put him in the movie, if you know what I mean. Kind of makes you feel a little bit like the Flash movie.
Mhm.
um, Many critics feel it lacks of depth and originality. It struggles to find the right tone. That I actually do agree with, especially when it comes to finding the right tone for the movie. Because it really never did find this right tone when I was watching it. It was all over the place. Like I said again, the humor was really not the right time, not working on a lot of the scenes. It worked maybe twice, three times, maybe something like that. It was like, okay, that's funny, but most of the time it didn't really hit, for me at least, and according to other people too, of course. And again, bear in mind the critics didn't like the first two movies. I thought the first Venom movie was a lot better than the second. Venom 3 debuted today in China, and the Chinese feel similar. They rated Venom to 5 out of 5 and gave Venom 3 a 9 out of 0. That's a huge difference. As I have been starting a word mouth from fans, it's going to make or break the flick. Um, so yeah, the movie's not going, at least it's not going that well. It is not. And a lot of people have talked about the same. So not a certain number of people I've been watching, at least, I've been listening to. They wanted to give this movie a chance, but the movie disappointed. But they talked about the fun parts they liked of it, of course. But
Mhm.
are you guys gonna watch this movie? Is it like worth it for you guys to watch it, or give it a chance, or
Well,
skip it? What
well,
do you guys
before I
think?
do that, I have to see at least the first one,
Yeah,
probably
and the
even
second
suffer
one.
through the second. So because I'm sure they're connected, all connected together. So, but yeah, I mean, I would eventually after gaining watching the other ones. So
Yeah,
I just don't know if Venom is something that's up my alley. I'd know after I saw the first one.
yeah,
I was again, he's Marvel. I was never much into Marvel stuff, so
yeah. You're more
I just
DC
remember
guy.
yeah, I'm a DC guy, but I do remember when Spidey got his black suit that he was wearing for a while. That was Venom for a while. I knew that part, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. It's like when you watch the first one and then you go to the second one, you see the big shift of the movies, from the first one to the second of what went wrong. You really see the big shift, and I think Cash Money
Mhm.
can add upon that because he's also watched the movies. That you can see the big shift. Do you agree with that, Cash? That when you see the second one, you see the big difference, the big change of the two movies?
Well, I mean, it's just there's just things in that movie that just wouldn't make sense to Venom. I don't really understand it. And there's definitely a bit of a political agenda in there, which is stupid. And
Yeah.
yes, I would say there is definitely a shift. And the way, as I've said before, Venom and Brock act towards each other is like that's not how they ever acted. Even in the animated show, they were close, but not like that. It was really bizarre and weird,
Yeah, they
and
they
I'm
were
like,
real they
I
were
don't
close
like
in the
this.
comics. They were close, but later on in comics, they made them really close to the point where they kind of are both fathers for Clintar Kid.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, that happened in the comics. Yeah,
I just don't like that direction, man. I don't care if that was in the comics or not. That's just
that
for
was in the
me.
comics that they have a kid
Yeah,
together,
I
basically.
I, I just I
Like
don't care
Brock
for
is
that
not the
stuff.
biological father, of course. That is, of course, basically
I just
Venom.
saw Venom,
But
right, being close, but not that close. It was really
yeah.
bizarre to me. I
So
don't
they
like
are
that
fathers
stuff.
together because they're
Yeah.
bonded together, and they, oh, we kind of have a son, and that Clintar, that little kid looks up to both of us, and
Yeah.
in the same storyline, you find out that Venom was on an alien in space. I think it was one of the scrolls or the other species, two different species, but I don't remember the fucking species on the alien. But
Mm.
Venom was on this alien before that alien comes back to Earth because he wants to use Venom again and all that
Oh
kind of
boy.
stuff. And then at the same time, they did the kid stuff and all that weird stuff. And at the same time, they created the null thing of being the god of symbiotes. And then they also removed, because this was, in the original origin story of Venom, the reason he has a goddamn spider on his fucking chest is because he was on Peter Parker. He was on
Mhm.
That's
Spider-Man.
true. He
He
was.
copied the look
Yes.
of. That's kind of the point. That's why he's so similar
Right.
to Spider-Man's suit. But
Mhm.
no, because they introduced Null, it's a dragon. It's a
Mhm.
goddamn dragon. When you see Null, you understand why. And also, at some point, Venom suddenly, becomes more powerful. He
Well,
flies with wings and all that kind of
dude,
stuff.
Carnage is a badass, man, and what they did to him in the second movie is not that Woody Harrelson can't play Carnage. I mean, he's
No,
quite an
it's
actor.
perfectly cast. I
It's
think
just
that's perfect casting, but they PG
but they
Carnage way
right,
too down, and they
right.
made a stupid. I almost said a
Yes.
word that I don't use anymore. I have to remember.
Yes. Yes.
Oof, I get fired up. I love Carnage. I love Carnage a lot more than
Yes.
Venom. Carnage has always been one of my favorite villains when it comes to the Clintars, because Carnage, it's in it's in its name, you know. It's carnage,
Well,
blood, destruction, evil,
they
and
pulled yeah.
and
Mhm.
and and Clytus in the comics, he would never, he would kill that girl. He would have done horrible things to that
Yes,
woman,
I
dude.
agree.
It's like, yes, I hate a lot of stuff that Clytus do because he's fucked up in the head. It's like I don't like
Mhm.
to read when he tortures cats and kills them for fun,
Mm,
but
yeah,
that's
no.
how his
Yeah.
character, he's not human in his heart. He's not a goddamn human. He's just,
Well,
that's why Carnage likes being bonded with him, because Cletus is just pure evil, and
Well,
so
I
is
don't
well,
Carnage.
that's just it. You're supposed to not like him. And the
yes,
Yes.
exactly.
big
Mhm.
thing is I don't know why they don't have more women being a Clintar hunter because they always claim men can't find the Clintar. But back to you, Jay.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
god.
Oh god, okay, I understand.
Uh,
Oh, that's a
What?
really PG version of it. Yeah, yeah. That's nice. You did it right way.
Well,
But no,
it's just that
also, yeah, also in the comics now, Eddie Brock is becoming Carnage now.
for freak's sakes.
Yeah,
It's just these ideas are just stupid. Like these characters don't have to become somebody else unless it actually does make sense. And then like, oh, he's becoming Carnage now. It's just dumb. It's just like the movies, the movies, Marvel, Sony, whatever, connected with each other. If they're too short, like I feel, and so does my brother, that the second Venom movie was too short, just like how he feels about the first X-Men movie, that it could have been a bit longer, and he does have a point on that. These movies should be about what, 2 hours, probably 2.5 hours, something like that. Some of them are longer, but an hour and a half or something, hour and 45 minutes, that's too short for a comic book movie. I feel,
yeah,
especially what you're paying for now if you're going to the
yeah,
theaters. Hmm.
Mhm.
exactly. And
Well, it all
Tom also
depends on
said
how you do the story, though.
True.
exactly,
That's a fair
and
point too.
also, if I have extra cash, I want to go plus to get out for a bit, but saw them all in theaters, so it's fitting to finish it there. I totally understand you. Totally understand
Hmm.
you.
Keep the
But no, I
tradition alive.
yeah, keep the tradition alive. And no, but I agree with you, Cash and Baron, with that. And it also depends. You can make a shorter movie, but then it really goes to how are you writing the movie? Does
Right.
it fit for the story?
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
Carnage should have been fleshed out even more than he was in the
yes,
movie. And once again, it's
yeah,
like, can you guys just go back and watch the episodes of Carnage in the animated show and then just build on
or
that?
read the
Right.
comics,
Or just read the comics, whatever works for you. But please do
do
some
some
more
research.
research.
Because it
Please do
made
some
no
more.
sense that
No.
he gets a girlfriend who,
Right.
who has the power of screaming, and one of the weaknesses to Clintar's is high sound. So, and again, Cletus would never get a girlfriend like that. He would do horrible things to her just for
Mhm.
pure fun, basically. He would just do it for pure fun, not because he needs to or have to. He's just gonna do it for fun. Like he's like Joker, basically. As crazy as Joker, that's who he is. Maybe a little bit more crazy than the Joker at times with certain things, but that says a lot about Cletus as a character. He barely has any heart. Um so yeah, they really messed that up with Cletus and Carnage. They should have fleshed that out a lot more, a lot more. And
Oh,
drop the whole rave gay scene and saying that I'm out of the Eddie closet.
oh God. Speaking on the length of movies and whatnot, we've spent decades and decades and decades with movies being roughly hour and 20 to hour 45 minutes. 2 hour long movies used to be like that was a lot of time people had to dedicate to go to the theater, and the movies were better. They were the better paced and whatnot as compared to these 2.5, 3 hour extravaganzas that we're getting nowadays. That, of course, they're bloated, they're strung along, poorly paced, with nothing but filler in a quarter of the movie. We go through over and over again. There's some of these movies nowadays, modern movies, you got 20, 30 minutes that you can just like, that didn't need to be in the movie. We have
Hmm.
directors that don't know how to properly direct a movie, writers that don't know what needs to be in and what doesn't need to be in there. Like the 2.5 to 3 hour movie used to be an anomaly. And hell, with a 2 hour movie, you used to have intermissions in the theaters. Those days are
Yeah.
gone. So the idea that the movie
Yeah.
needs to be 2 to 2.5 hours, like I think that's nonsense. We need better writers and better directors
Yeah,
to
that's all
tell
it's
their
about.
stories. Like,
That's
be
what
able to
it's all
tell their
And
about.
story.
The
editors.
writing.
Some of
And
the
editors.
best movies of all time have been hour and a half, 90 minutes. You're in, you're out, you're about your day, you're talking about the movie, and
Hmm.
you had a good time. You know,
Mhm.
I don't. Yeah, we just
I
I'm
know,
we
just
and
need
I'm just
better
focusing more on
paced.
the
We need better paced
comic
yeah,
book
movies.
no,
films. The comic book
Mhm.
films, dude. They're just
Yeah.
not fleshed out enough. You know, we the
but
even
that's
some of the things. Mhm.
that's why mostly more Marvel and DC movies were a little bit longer. If you think about
Mhm.
that too, they try to flesh out a lot more, and that's
Mhm.
understandable. To certain movies should be a little longer for certain things, and certain movies should be shorter, but it all depends on the writing and who is doing the movie, who is doing this. It all
Mhm.
depends on that. If you are a really fantastic writer and all that, and producer, director, all this kind of stuff, and you just want to do a movie for, we say, an hour and a half, well, that person can probably do it easy. You know, they know what to do, and
Well,
they've done it before.
Well,
I see that.
remember, we
well,
both, Jay, saw a movie like Silent Hill. Oh, excuse me, Silent Night. Sorry, Silent Hill is
Yes,
really good, the first one, but
yeah,
Silent
yeah,
uh,
Silent Night was pretty good. I enjoyed the hell out of
I
yeah.
that.
like that. I really like that movie. That was a solid
He's
revenge
more
See,
he's
story.
more Punisher than
oh,
Punisher these
it was
days in
so
the
good.
comics.
I
It
went to the
was,
I went to
and
the theater.
the
Me and my
end
dad
of
went to the
that.
theater.
Go
Oh,
ahead, Kilton. Yeah.
well, no, me and my dad went to the theater in that, and what I realized by the end of the movie, the only dialogue you hear is the one
Hmm.
time I think the mother
Yes,
screams and the radio, the
I know.
broadcast, the that's it. It's like,
Mhm.
but you know what's happening, you
Yes.
know how the
Yep.
characters feel,
Hmm.
you know what's going on, but there's no dialogue, and it's like it was
I know.
fantastic. Oh,
I
anyway,
know.
sorry.
Yeah.
I know.
Again,
It
the
was
movie
really
was
good.
more it was more Punisher than Punisher
Mm.
these days.
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
fair point.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, well, the thing is also back in the day too, in the '80s, we didn't have all those megaplexes,
True.
so they didn't have
Yep.
films so long because they wanted to try to get as many people through the theater as
hmm
much as possible. They preferred
Hmm.
having that hour and a half, hour 45 minute film. Now, you got the megaplexes, and they see things like the Lord of the Rings trilogy and how long those were, and they go, "See, we this is now what we got to do. We got to have these huge, long movies." Or even going back to Gone with the Wind and how long that film was. Which, of course, what did it have? It had intermission. I wish they had
Yes.
that for Lord of the Rings, but they didn't. They should have.
It's
Uh,
okay that they didn't, but I understand what you're saying, man.
well,
Well,
that's
not
why you have
not
the
as many
empty
people
cup with
smoke
you.
nowadays, and so
Yeah.
what was
Well, it's more
intermission
the
for?
fact
Use the
that
bathroom, smoke a cigarette.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's why you keep your empty glass with you. Um, but the thing is having a film that goes 2.5 hours
Yeah,
or three. If you have everything done, the pacing right, the story right, the dialogue right, you're gonna get to the end and go, "Come on, I want more!"
Well,
Yep.
that's
this is
right.
part
Right?
one.
That's
I
what you
think
Exactly.
want.
Right.
I think it would
And
be
then
good. Like the first Iron Man, I just looked it up. The first Iron Man, and the first Captain America movie. Those were 2 hour movies, 2 hours and a
Yep.
couple of minutes. I think if like 2 hours, I think that's probably become the sweet spot for a decent movie. Roughly
yeah,
around that 2 hour mark, and I don't see a problem with it. But um, it's it's the writers, it's the directors. We don't have the
and the
same
editors.
qualities we used to. I don't know
And
why.
And
My
Well,
and
they
own
I'm
just
speculation, but
I'm that person who I love long movies.
yeah, I don't
yeah,
mind
but if you
them.
see it
Yeah,
in the
Just
theater
as
for
long as they don't.
2.5 hours, I
I
mean
can
that's
say if
yeah.
there's a movie that I like,
Mm,
I could have watched we say both Rebel Moon movies. Sure, no problem. I would do that easy in a
Shocked.
cinema.
I would need a
Yeah,
couple
no.
of beers first.
well,
And
some
at
theaters
same
have that now.
but like when I've done all the marathons on cinema in Norway with Lord of the Rings and the
Mhm.
Hobbits,
Yeah.
when the Hobbits movies came out, they always where I used to live, they always had a marathon with all the movies that came before the new movie and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and to build it up. And I had no problem. Yes, I love when they had a break and all that because real long
Right.
movies you need a break. You need to,
Mm.
but in cinemas they still normally do that when it's that long of an extended cut of a movie.
Yeah,
Um,
they had a Batman thing set up for Dark Knight Rises with AMC before.
yeah,
When they were showing it that first week. I mean, it was very cool.
Yeah.
So you watch Batman Begins, you watch The Dark Knight, and then you watch The Dark Knight Rises.
yeah,
And
and
another reason why a theater should want to have an intermission. Well, people will go and get some snacks
for
and goodies.
food,
Yes.
Mhm.
snacks,
Right.
drinks,
So
and
Yes.
you
also the
get the
most important thing for me, having a goddamn cigarettes.
yeah. Well, that's it. People can have a smoke. People can go and drain the weasel or at least some pipe.
That's right.
Then get
Yeah,
some
exactly.
popcorn, refills of popcorn, and maybe
Hmm.
some
Yeah.
raisinets,
And so for
and
me,
away you
I
go.
I had no problem doing that marathon at the times when I was gonna watch the Hobbit
Yeah,
movies when they came out.
sure.
I love it, that's my cup of tea. And yeah, next month,
Hmm.
where I live, we're gonna have the original trilogy marathon here down at the cinema where I live,
Hmm, interesting.
and
Yeah.
I
I stand
might
corrected.
go. I might go.
Mhm. Well, and
Uh,
a perfect point here with the Blues Brothers. Why was
yeah.
it so great with 2 hours and 13 minutes? Because it kept on always going.
Yes.
There wasn't really a slow moment in that movie.
Mm.
No,
And of
there
course,
is.
like they said, it had those musical sequences, which you needed in a Blues Brothers film, which helped
Yes,
Yeah.
along.
Keeps you
And then,
going. Keeps you
right.
going.
I mean, it's in the title that there's going to be music.
Hmm. And then you
Oh,
got
are you saying
Ghostbusters.
so? Are you saying so, Cash? Blues, really?
No, I mean, really, there would have to be music. It would be weird if there wasn't.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yes,
especially when it's based off the characters that were doing
that's
the
right.
blues
On
bits on
SNL.
SNL.
Mm-hmm.
Back when
Yes.
SNL was
Yeah.
really a good show.
Yes.
But then
They were really
Ghostbusters
trying a
at
lot
one
of cool things. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
but Ghostbusters at 145 again. It kept going. It kept going. It was easy for you to go hide a little bit and then sneak back into the theater and watch it for a second time.
Yeah.
Um, you know, not
Yeah,
that
and
I'm saying
it's
that I ever
just
did things
it's
like that, but you know.
it's the same thing with Bond films. Like I would have to
Mhm.
see how long they are. I know some of them got longer, but if they're really enjoyable, a film's enjoyable, you don't even think about the time. Wow, that was this.
No,
I
you
mean,
don't.
even the
Mm.
last Dune film, I still say the pacing was
Mhm.
actually pretty good.
Yeah.
See, the thing is you can have a long film, and it's like, oh, it's over already. And
Yeah.
then you can have a short
I,
film like the 1 hour and 45 minutes, and you're in there for about 20, maybe 30 minutes. You're looking at your clock, going, "Okay, is it done yet? Is it done?
yeah.
Really,
No,
honestly?"
exactly.
I mean, again, the editing, the writing, the acting, the pacing, the direction,
That's what
all that
that's what I
stuff.
really like with the Lord of the Rings
Just like
movies, for
Kelton was saying.
example, you know? Yeah, that's what I really like
Hmm.
with the Lord of the Rings, you know? It keeps going, it keeps me going, and then a lot of other people going like, you know, after you watch the first one again, it's like, "Oh, I can't stop watching now. I have to continue. I have to go straight to the second movie right now," right? Because it makes you hyped. Even if you've seen it multiple times, it still makes me as hyped as was back in the day. I still get as hyped, and, every time I'm gonna watch Lord of the Rings, the extended cuts, I am gonna watch everything, you know. I'm not gonna have a day break. I'm gonna watch everything because I can't stop because it keeps me going. Because I enjoy it that much. And the same feeling. I know, Kilted. We have different views on Rebel Moon, but now that's not what we're gonna talk about. Um, but
Oh,
that's
where's the fun
how
in that?
but 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 that's how I also felt. The same with like with Lord of the Rings. For
Hmm.
me, I didn't feel the 3 hours and stuff like that. It went over so fast for me because the movie kept me going, and I got more hyped, and I got excited, and I had a lot, you know, I had a lot of feelings watching this. So, you know, it just kept on going for me. So for me, it was no problem to get to the next movie.
Hmm.
All I did was, you know, taking a little break to go to the toilet, take a cigarette, get some more, you know, snacks and drinks, and make myself ready. And then I went straight back to watch the second movie because
Yeah.
that's it was for me, and that's what I'm really excited if I'm gonna go to the original trilogy because I have never seen the original trilogy in cinema because I'm too young. And you know, I want to experience that too. I might not have the cool experience that Baron and all of you older guys have had, you know.
Yeah, what's that, Sonny?
Yeah, but at
Well,
least
you
I can.
might, you might, because
Hey, I was
really,
born in
that's
the wrong generation, bro. You know, I was
yeah.
born in the wrong generation, so I will not
Well, it
experience
still
that.
might impact you, man, because I
Oh
tell
yeah, it
you,
will.
as
Of course
much
it
as that
will.
opening scene of Star Wars,
Yeah, of
as
course.
impressive as it is on on a flat screen, a 65-inch or whatever TV, you go into a theater and you experience it, it blows you out of the water. Just the Rebel
Exactly.
blockade runner, then the Imperial, and
Yeah.
then the
So
bang booms and all that. So yeah, I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
and
it'll impact you.
that's gonna be a lot of hours in the cinema, because they're, you know, around
Hmm.
a little bit over the 2 hour mark. Um, and no, the movie's gonna start 12 at night. You know, an hour before when I normally do streams. We do streams, right? Basically around that time they're gonna start, and when we're done, it's like in the day, basically for me then. So no, I'm excited. It's gonna be no sleep. I'm gonna watch them. I'm excited, and I need to experience them in cinema. It's the original trilogy. I love the original trilogy, and but those movies too, they keep you going. It makes it worth it because they're so well done.
Well, the
And
sad
the
thing
cine-
is, though, that I do feel sorry for you. You won't see the original editions.
not on cinema. I saw them,
Yeah,
back
yeah,
in the day,
but
but
yeah, I talk about in the cinema.
yeah.
And as I get going, I start thinking, really, you didn't need to do that, George. And the one film that was the least touch was Empire Strikes Back because, well, really, that was pretty dang, almost a perfect Star Wars film. But I'd rather see the original Jabba the Hutt, Max Rebo band. I'd rather, yeah, I like the scene where Biggs and Luke have their conversation. And yeah, keep that one in there. But we didn't need to see CGI Jabba with Han. I mean, that
No,
scene was
we didn't. We
was
didn't.
not
There are certain
necessary.
stuff that I agree with when it comes to certain things. I agree
Mhm.
with.
Mhm.
It's like if you take that's you can just clip out that CGI Jabba because it makes no sense. And if you look at the original scene with that, the dialogue doesn't really work because that was
No.
he talks to Jabba like when he's kind of a human and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and it's weird. And Jabba is way too short and way too skinny. He's been working
Mhm.
out on that scene.
He let himself
Um,
go in 3 years.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, talking about
I didn't
the
mind.
edited scene from A New Hope with Han Solo.
Mhm.
I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
my
mind
god, I
those.
hated that.
I don't mind those things, but yes, I know what you guys are talking about. You didn't need
yeah,
it. I get it. You
yeah.
didn't need
No,
it.
I don't hate all of the changes he did.
No,
No, no, no,
I don't.
no.
there's some cool changes in there. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
I,
lot
I
of
I'm
would have.
not.
it's a lot of
Yeah,
there's a lot of changes there that expanded like on planets and the
never a
world.
fan of the alien female thing singing though in Return of
Oh
the Jedi,
no,
but
no, that was
just
always
not.
weird. Yeah,
It's
no,
so
no,
Oh,
that
weird and
we needed
stupid.
the Max Rebo band, the original one.
we needed the original
Right.
band. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. You know what you should have done? Re-edit it and with black metal when they're singing. Blah.
Black metal. Yeah, that would have fit.
Dude, that I have an idea. I'm gonna try that just for fun, and I'm gonna release it. Just do
Oh,
some like, take some mayhem music and just like oh, that would have been funny. No, I can take my song, that Baron wants me to send to a certain person. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I can do that. God, Baron, you would have died of laughter if I did that.
You got that right.
Simping is such a major turnoff to women.
Not them. But yeah, we had talked a lot about this, so we are
Uh,
of course gonna go to the next one. And we are gonna go to, of course, Cash. You had an article you wanted to talk about. If you have it
ah,
ready.
yes, Prince of Persia. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Go to them next. Maybe I can get out of reading an article this time too.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
you
because you
so
reminded me
far.
I'm
on that.
evil. I'm
Okay.
evil.
Yep.
He'll be Cash. He'll be Kilted, and by that time it comes to me. It's like, oh, time to go.
All right. So we've got it looks like a good article now from
I
WCCF
just want to
Tech.
say, is this the
Mhm.
guy from Rings of Power?
Yeah, of course,
Is this
man. No.
Miles
Look,
Morales?
no.
I have
They
a when
all
Game
have the same
Informer
haircuts.
when Game Informer was still around, I said, "How many people are really excited about this wannabe Prince of Persia guy with uh, I can't remember what kind of haircut it is now. Dreadlocks, right? Yeah,
Dreadlock.
he has dreadlocks. Yeah, and people were like, "That's racist," and I said, "How is it racist? The guy has dreadlocks." What and then other people defended me on that and said, "Dude, this guy is not Persian. Like this is called Prince of Persia, not
Yep.
Prince of Africa or something." But no,
Yeah.
it's just really I know, right? It's so
Yeah.
bad.
And
I'm
again, they're
shocked.
No.
using the same designs on a lot of these. I think that is stereotyping. A lot of these companies are stereotyping
Yeah, they're
people right there.
stereotyping. That's
Because they
what they're
have the
doing.
same
So
hairstyle, same looks, even in movies and TV shows. They're gonna have the same style, same haircut. Stop stereotyping. That's more racist than anything.
it
That
is,
you're
but
stereotyping
also
people there.
I'm not
Come on.
against like a platform Prince of Persia because that's how these games did start. But
Yeah,
the
of
the
course.
whole thing is it just looks a lot like Fortnite. And if you guys have noticed,
Yes,
there's
I
things
know.
that look too much like Fortnite that don't need to look like Fortnite. I'm not saying that's a terrible style or anything, but
It's too
I just don't
cartoony. It's too
understand it.
weird.
I
It
I don't
doesn't
think it
fit.
fits. Yeah, I want that more 3D original Prince of Persia games that we got. Those were amazing. So we have here Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown sequel isn't happening due to low sales. Ubisoft disbanded the team. So we've got an article here from Alyssa Palumbo. Never heard of these people.
Me neither.
Uh, yeah. So Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown was an early success for Ubisoft in 2024, or so it seems, anyways. It was the first relatively big game to launch this year and got rave reviews, including Francisco's 9 out of 10 on WCCF Tech. And he
Wow.
said, I know, right?
I'm,
There a
I'm
lot of
good.
people
Wow.
gave this rave reviews. I know. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown couldn't have brought back the series after more than a decade. Um, a long hiatus in a better way with an engaging story, well crafted Meadowvania mechanics, and a touch of character action game features in its combat system. Sargon's adventure will be remembered by fans for a long time, even with its minor issues. A lot of the media gave this a good review. I don't know why. I hear this game can be fun, but once again, this guy is not Persian, and I think it's
Yeah.
just disrespectful. I really
Yeah,
do.
and I totally agree with you, Cash. I totally agree with you.
So
Yeah,
I
well, they're taking the
mhm,
DEI to an extreme now. They're going in and they're
right,
destroying other cultures. It's like going after
Yeah.
white people isn't good
hmm
enough anymore.
you
Yeah,
Now
we
you
got it
talked
got
a lot
right.
about that last
protect
stream
them.
too. We
Yep,
talked a lot about that, how they're disrespecting all the cultures and stuff like that.
Hmm. The
hmm
Japanese now, people of Persian
yep,
descent, and
Indians
you
and
know,
everything.
hmm
yep,
yeah. I mean, wait until
exactly.
they go. Wait until they start going after the Maori or the Aborigines.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so unfortunately, sales haven't been nearly as positive, at least compared to Ubisoft's pre-release estimates. According to
The hell you
YouTuber
say?
Gout House, I think that's how I pronounce his name, who talked to various members of Montpeller office, there won't be any sequel and the Prince of wait. There won't be any sequel, and the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown team is also practically disbanded. The hell you say? Where's the clip?
I have
We don't have it
Um.
here.
Uh.
You can add it.
Oh man. Right.
uh,
Good.
going to work with it now, Captain.
Okay. You have to understand that internally, the writing was on the wall a few weeks after the game launched at the beginning of the year. By spring, it was pretty clear, just a few patches, a DLC, and that was it. Well, you know, it's funny. I told people before, it's not you see the writing on the wall with this stuff that the it's just not going in the best right. And while the game can still be fun, they're still disrespecting Persian people, and that I
Yep.
don't know why you don't do that. You have in the title Prince of Persia. Then the way people were arguing with me about this at the time when I wrote my comment, they said, "Oh, well, he's not Persian. He's not really the prince. He's not." Then why is Prince of Persia in the title?
Yep. Exactly.
Come on.
Come
Um,
on, man.
Come
Seriously,
on,
the,
man.
the more optimistic folks in the core team repeatedly pitched a sequel project, but then it turned into a struggle to get the green light for 2 DLCs, hoping to change the boss's mind. But it was obvious that the decision had been made quickly, especially with the need for for help on the other projects with better sales potential. Okay, so Ubisoft usually has a sales curve like a blockbuster, big launch, but this time it started lower than expected. I've heard a justification that honestly drives me crazy as a gamer. If you let them make another one, it'll eat into the long-term sales of this one. I've always thought the opposite. With a good sale on the first one, you could actually boost sales. Well, it's just, once again, I don't know what Ubisoft is anymore. Ubisoft had a great vision before, they really do. We had Splinter Cell, we had Rayman, we had a solid vision for Prince of Persia. They're squandering
Yep.
all this stuff. Even Just Dance is still a popular
Yeah.
game. Like
Yeah, I
they had
remember
a
Just Dance, yeah.
they have a good vision, but they're just squandering everything. And it's not just
Yep.
Ubisoft. We've seen problems with Blizzard, though. I guess they've
Yeah.
done well with WoW. The new expansion is making people happy, so that's good. What about the rest of it, though? When
Yep.
are we ever going to build again with StarCraft? When are we going to build maybe even a new
Oh,
IP with a different world? Who knows? But I don't really understand these decisions
Yeah.
anymore. And people
And
always
with the
you
and with the World
yeah,
of Warcraft expansion stuff, it's really 50-50 on who you're listening to. It's really 50-50.
okay,
As
well,
I used to be a big World of Warcraft guy. I still love World of Warcraft in my heart,
yeah.
but I haven't played it for years and years, and I don't think I will ever go back. And again, the DLC that really broke it, no, not the panda stuff, but in the recent years, they screwed up the whole story and made no sense anymore, and they just didn't know what to do with the story and destroyed it. And they finally got the new Lich King character finally back. We finally got him back, something we've been waiting for so many goddamn years. And they decide to just kill him off in the beginning, even in the goddamn trailer, basically. And making Sylvanas the head chief, basically, in the trailer, and all this kind of stuff. So, uh, and a story, and nothing made sense. And so it's really 50-50 who we're listening to when it comes to that.
Yeah, it's just I just don't understand. And then it's all the time. It's like, well, people are asking for so much. It's like, how can they be asking for so much when we've had all this stuff before? It doesn't make sense. You guys are just lazy. You want to nickel and dime a lot of the consumers with a lot of these things. It's not right. And if you're going to put out a DLC that's connected to the actual game, then give somebody something concrete, like we've had before with BioShock
well,
Infinite.
the
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean, I did see a video today where talking about exactly the same thing here, and basically asking what the hell is Bethesda doing,
Yeah, I don't know
and
what they're
Yep.
doing either. They
right,
could be doing
and,
Same
and, and
so
here.
much with
well,
Starfield, man. So much
well,
more with
So
Starfield.
much, man.
Ugh.
well, that's just it. They were talking about that, and they said, no, we just got that DLC that came out in September last month, and it's short. It's not very long. It takes place only on one planet, and kind of meh.
Yeah.
And it's getting those
Sounds like
ratings of
SWTOR.
meh.
Sounds like they're doing a
Yeah.
lot of the same stuff that SWTOR started doing. So,
Yeah,
And of course,
SOTOR.
what they're saying is we're expecting too much. How are
Mhm.
we expecting too much? We're holding it. It's like, yeah, sure, they finally got buggies now,
Well,
but
it's
still
yeah.
other things that's that you need to get going. This is a perfect framework to be able to have basically quote unquote modules
Yes.
yeah.
Well,
of new
they
adventures, but
with
they're squandering
SOTOR,
it.
yeah, they squander this stuff with SOTOR. They've got to keep adding more story. They need to find add more of the PvP stuff, add more um
Mhm.
And
maps, which
when
would be nice.
yeah,
There's a lot of
and
things they
when
could
it
add.
comes to the story, it's not that really hard what they can use and stuff here and
No.
there, and but they don't know what they're doing. And yeah, the writers are, they have a lot of the more modern versions of writers in
Mhm.
there now, and just ruining the goddamn story more and more. Like they didn't when they came out with the DLC, and then suddenly Darth Malgus is back, who's been dead for goddamn years now.
Right.
It's like, okay, now we know that you are trying to win the fans back. You're a lack because all the mistakes you have done through the years now, it's finally catching up to you and how you have been treating fans, etc., etc. So you're
Right.
trying to buy the fans back and trying to nostalgia bait them and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, come on, let that character be dead now. We need to move on with a
Right.
better story. And then you end up fighting him two times, or I think it was like two times in the new storyline, and
Yeah,
he's
it's
and they debuffed him
well.
to be like
See,
one of the weakest bitches you could find,
what's
and then you
what's weird
capture him. It's like so bad.
What's
It's like
weird is like even going back a few years ago or more when this started, like 2013, something around there, 2011. Even when you do the bounty hunter story, then it's like, oh, I have to fart.
the game
I
came
have
out in
to
2012.
excuse me. I have to fight
Cat fart.
Darth Malgus. Yeah,
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 but yeah, the
he,
game came out in
yeah, Malgus
2012.
farted. No, but
Yeah, it came
yeah,
out 2012 and then
yeah, yeah,
2014
and
movie.
you have to fight him, and it's like, well, why can't I just continue on with just the bounty hunter story? No, now you have to fight Darth Malgus, and it's like, come on, it's like this is kind of cheesy. I don't. We could have just continued on with more of the story of the bounty hunter. Why do I have to fight him? And so every storyline, unless they've changed it, you have to fight Darth Malgus. So no. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I thought that was just cheap. It's like, come on, let's just
I know what you
continue
mean.
on with the story with the bounty hunter
Hmm.
or whatever story you're doing. We don't have to fight Darth Malgus every time. It's just weird. But yeah, it's I don't know. They just once again the Pazak stuff, the swoop bike racing, like that was that's still not even added into SOTOR. Jace,
Nope.
it makes no sense. Those if it's going to
You're
connect to
telling
Knights
me
of the
like I don't
Republic,
know, man. I've
I
been
know,
playing
I
this game
know.
since
I
2013.
know, man. I know. So I've been
Come
playing
on,
it.
dude.
I know you've
You
been
know me
playing.
better.
You continued it longer than I have, but yeah, it's just. But still, like it's not there,
Okay,
and it could be
before
there.
that,
Yeah.
before that, Kilted, you have to go.
Yes, unfortunately,
What?
work called.
Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, my position, I have like sometimes bunch of nonsense can happen in the middle of the night, but I got to cut out. I do apologize for having
We
to
had
cut
an
out early,
article
but
for you. God damn it.
Yeah,
oh,
we did.
Oh
We got the article
man.
all set for you, buddy.
uh, I'm sorry,
It's
but
all
No
good,
problem,
man.
brother. But please promote
Works in
yourself as fast as you can if you
yes.
have to go.
fast as I can. I am the Kilt Occasion. I talk about the nonsense that people say, people run their mouth. That's just definitely going to promote all of their products to the forefront because insulting customers is always a good thing, or insulting potential customers is always a good thing. Live
Oh, of
streams on
course.
Wednesday night. I try to be here as often as possible. On Thursdays and Sunday nights, I just talk about nonsense. So thank y'all for having me. Y'all have a good night. I got to cut out.
Okay, you
See you
take
later,
care,
brother.
Colton,
Love you,
man.
man.
Later, y'all.
Later, Kilted.
But yeah, man, I've been playing this game since 2013, so I've seen a lot of the changes and stuff they promised that
Yeah,
never
man.
came, and all this kind of
They
stuff.
never even going back in the day, they promised certain changes and it never happened. They promised ranked war zones, never happened. They promised what was it, 3D space combat. Sure, the combat got better with
Hmm.
the dogfighting, but it's still they could have added that in there from Galaxies. People like that so much, and that's one of the
Yeah.
reasons they played
No,
Galaxies for so
yeah,
long.
and there were a lot of mistakes they did back in the day too, but at least they kept a lot of other stuff up to what they were supposed
Yeah.
to, at least. And so the reason why the game got popular and why it was a lot of fun, again, it was a lot of the choices, a lot of the combat, a lot of what you could
Yes.
do, all the crafting,
Hmm.
grinding. It had
Yeah.
a lot of other stuff that people loved, and also playing with people and friends. But they started changing. I don't remember when I saw the little change, but I remember it happened when they screwed over your companion so you could use a tank character as a healer. It makes no goddamn sense. That was
Hmm.
like one of the big changes. And then they removed the whole grinding thing. So you can still grind, but you don't need to modify your armor or weapons anymore. You don't need to. You can just use another thing. So the weapon you have looks like the weapon you bought from your store, and it's like super powerful. It's all these stupid changes that they did, and that was like some of the biggest things. And then it just got worse after that. It got worse and worse and worse. And then of course, the new storylines is what, other than all the other mistakes of the technical stuff, the story was the last thing they could have to live on was the story. But they just, unfortunately, they went more of a Disney route with the story, and it
Yep.
started to go downhill with the story too.
Yep. But it's hard to talk to some people about this kind of stuff. It's like, oh, you're asking for too much. Oh, why are they doing this? People should just accept this. This is not a problem. Gamers are just complaining. They're the
You know what?
worst in the
All
world.
I
Blah
ask
blah. All
for,
this stuff. Come
oh,
on.
the things I ask for, respect your customers,
Yes,
respect the potential customers, and just do that, and
yeah,
create something that can go for, no matter if you're a Disney fan or Star original expanded universe fan, no matter what side you're on, when you're doing the Swallow thing, make all of us happy.
that's
Just
right.
do make all of us happy. Do some storylines that make sense. Don't try to do nostalgia bait and all this other bullshit and just whatever the hell they're doing with the story. Don't do that. Just go a right way. You still have a lot of source material you can go after.
That's right.
Um, SWTOR, the new company that creates it, you are the last thing that's actually from the expanded universe. You're the
Hmm.
last living thing from it. Don't let it die like it's dying right now.
Yeah.
W- I know one day the game is going to be shut down because of
Yes,
this.
yes,
You have to do a
Well,
big change in this
it will.
game to satisfy both customers and change some of the stuff to the blueprints. You have to.
well, the sad thing is, it sounds like there is trouble in paradise over there,
It
Oh
is.
yeah,
and
there is. They're
and
thinking about going
so
private. So yes, I would say Ubisoft is in a lot of trouble.
right, which would affect, of course, the game. So I
Yes.
mean, it might. There's been people that are concerned that it will be sooner than later that SWTOR will go bye bye.
Yeah, it just might.
And but the thing
Hmm.
is what they're doing. It's only guaranteeing that.
Yep. And the only thing that's been basically holding them up now is people using money
Yeah,
on the game.
right. And
Um,
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what they need. They need to have finance coming in and all that. But now
yeah.
they made it so it's impossible to play. Then why don't you go back to a subscription service all the way across the board? You get the subscription, you get everything in there. Boom, and
Yes.
that is,
And exactly. And the same thing, they started giving out DLCs that was not finished. They
yeah,
started giving DLCs that was not finished to us. So the gameplay was probably 40 minutes. 40 minutes of a DLC story,
right.
I did
Yeah, why do you want
40
to pay for that?
minutes. And if
Yes.
you are subscribed, of course you will get it. If you are have a subscription,
Yeah.
you will have it.
Mhm.
But 40 minutes extra? No, 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 no. Go back to the blueprints when you gave us a full
Yes.
goddamn expansion to the game, a full story. And just
Well,
when they released it,
yeah,
it's just like when I played it, I'm like, what's the next mission? Is this it? I have nothing more to do in this game now? So you're saying I have to go back to one of my other characters and continue the storylines I've gone through millions of times?
yep. That gets boring. And just like the video I was watching today, they said, you take a look at no, sorry, Phantom City or whatever for Cyberpunk 2077. He
Pretty
sat
no,
back and said, here,
Phantom. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, he said, you get this for basically sometimes the same price as some of these other DLCs, but those can be short, but this is like a sequel.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
you get that it's like a huge storyline that you're going to be involved in. So
Phantom
that
Liberty.
yeah, Phantom Liberty. Thank you. I was having a hard time. I have it now. Thank you, Mike. By the way,
Yeah. Phantom
um,
Liberty. Yeah.
Phantom Liberty.
Hmm.
I need to get through the 2077 in the regular game first, the base game, and then I can get to
Yeah.
that. But as that goes, it's like that's how you deliver, and that's what helped redeem 2077. I mean, they did those fixes, and now you have that
Most
master.
fixes. Most
Hmm?
fixes.
Yeah, yeah, most fixes. There's still, yeah. He said they're still out there. Bethesda's
Yes.
all more known for it,
I've been
but I
falling
mean,
through this stage many times.
mhm. But the thing is they did have fixed quite a bit in there, and then they got
Yeah.
that DLC, which again is like a sequel. It's a huge story. That's how you
Yeah.
do it.
Yes.
Yep. Not just like a 40-minute story.
Mm-hmm. And they'll
and
charge you 20, 25, maybe $30 for a 40-minute story.
yeah, exactly. And
And
no,
in cities,
that's what I love. This
$30, and it's a big, huge
yeah,
new game.
and that's unfortunately what a lot of these games do these days is that they just you get like 40 minutes, 50 minutes, maybe an hour you can do in a day, an hour just like that. And it's overpriced, it's all this bullshit
Mm-hmm.
and all that. No. What Cyberpunk did with that DLC, even though I hate the endings of that DLC too, I think they're trash. I like I love the
No
game, don't get
spoilers.
me wrong. I'm not gonna say this, but I love the games. I love the game, Cyberpunk. Don't get me wrong, I fucking love that game. It's
Yeah,
a
it's a good
fantastic
game.
universe. I love it. I'm not the biggest fan of first persons all the time, but in how they did it here worked perfectly the way they
Mm-hmm.
did it. It's like only one ending that I like in the game because it's like okay, it's making a little bit more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they did the right thing to make basically a sequel DLC. That's what you can call it, because it's so big. It's the same game, just a continuation, a sequel to the rest of the game, and that's how you do it. And the price for it, it's not that expensive either.
No,
And
I mean,
you get a lot more than 40 minutes to an hour. You get a lot more than that
mm-hmm.
with that
Right.
storyline. It could take
And side
days
quests.
and months
Mm-hmm.
and weeks to get it done.
And in honor of Cash Monet, I made
Mm.
a woman character, but she has a manual drive, not an automatic. Just in honor of Cash.
I'm so glad. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
But yeah,
so
that's what more they had to say about that game.
I
okay.
just wish, I just wish it had Cash's hair I could put on
Hilarious. The production of Prince of Persia.
I like that.
uh, the,
Hilarious.
the Lost Crown wasn't exactly an issue. Far from it, actually. For instance, there was crunch, but they're talking about production with a really strong collective spirit, which is pretty different from how Ubisoft usually makes games with 80 to 100 people fully loaded on development, which is pretty small in comparison. It's a classic big Ubisoft project, but it was a blessing to try out different organizational models. Some
Mm-hmm.
teams, like the gameplay team, for example, were set up almost horizontally with a lot of listening and consolation. People felt like they were really had a say in the project's direction. Plus, it's worth mentioning that. Plus, it's worth mentioning. That's funny. That's okay. The Prince of Persia team had often allowed people who were totally burned out due to too much time spent on Beyond Good and Evil 2. Somewhere along the way, it also helped some people get on their feet after tough times in their careers. So these days, the big office reorganization, at Ubisoft Monty Peller is kind of it's kind of wiping away the last traces of that team. Okay. It's unfortunate since Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is arguably one of the very few critical successes enjoyed by Ubisoft lately. Well, if it was, that's great and all, but once again, does it translate to sales? But
Right.
yeah. However, the company is now focused entirely on improving its sales, and it was even willing to delay Assassin's Creed Shadows out of its scheduled November 2024 release window to avoid jeopardizing its signature franchise. They're also backing out of the season pass model, canceling early access, and returning to Steam in three unprecedented pro consumer moves.
Okay. I know what you would
What
say.
the hell you say?
Mhm.
There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
once again, like I said, we can read all these articles, we cannot read. We can pretty much figure out what the writing on the wall is. That is, uh, they just do better, and we're not seeing a lot of these AAA companies doing better. And when people say, "Oh, well, indies support indie's cool, but indie can also do a lot of the same things too. This game seems the same as this game, and this game, and
Yeah,
this game, and this space
exactly.
game is the same and same." So, and that's fine. I feel there's some indie games out there that are cool, uh,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
AAA studios need to do better
Contraband
again.
police.
yeah.
Yes,
Contraband.
AAA.
And
I
again with
Yeah.
indie, there is 50-50. There is a lot of
Mhm.
crap who will follow the woke trend and the agenda trend and all this other weird stuff and doing all the crap that we don't like. And then you have the other side that has a lot of great stuff and you want to play it, you want to support it and all that. So it's 50-50 there too.
It is. It's all 50-50. You got stuff that Tekken 8 made a lot of fans like Jace and other people happy, then they start doing shit to
Until
it.
until
Uh-huh. Until they start doing shit to it. Look, however people feel about the new Street Fighter game and other things, there's just some things in there for me personally, and I'm like, I can't buy this game. And other people, that's fine. You want to play that, that's great. But
Mhm.
eh,
yeah,
I
for
don't
me,
like it.
as you
I
said,
don't like the direction they're taking some
I
of the Monster Hunter games now.
exactly,
I just don't like
exactly,
it.
and I was really happy with Tekken 8, I was
I know you
goddamn,
were.
I
Yeah.
love the game, I got them love it, and,
Yeah.
I have it on Xbox, I want to buy it on that play on PC also, and,
Mhm.
play it here. I did debate on streaming it if I bought it, on PC and stuff like that because I love the game. It'll be fun to do some online matches while I'm streaming and just talking, right? It could have been
Yeah,
fun.
of course.
But again, with all the changes that, oh, if I disconnect too many times, oh, I'm gonna be banned for like this, for that. You
Yep.
serious? And then they're gonna do a DLC and bring back certain characters who are confirmed to be dead. And because Hahichi wasn't in the Tekken 8 game, or we need him back because the game didn't sell too well without him. I'm like, dude, you did something we've been waiting. We wanted him to die at once, finally, after so many
Mhm.
years, and let the story continue on. And now
Yeah.
you introduce us to a girl who's his daughter, and she's a fucking cool.
Yep.
She's a cool character, and you made something interesting. Oh no, no, we're gonna bring him back now, and we're gonna do the same old crap. It's like, dude, now just going back. We want you to go forwards with the game. And then it started with the whole microtransaction stuff and
I
other
know.
stuff.
Mhm.
Come on. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna buy the game on PC. I'm yes, I played once in a while on Xbox, but
Mhm.
I will not buy the DLC. I will not do any of the microtransactions or anything like that. Will I buy Tekken 9 when that comes? I don't know. It really depends on the company itself and what they do.
Yeah, it always does. And I just don't understand some of these decisions. I don't understand what they did to Overwatch. I actually liked the first Overwatch game, and if you played like Team
Yeah,
Fortress
I
2,
also got
it was a fun game. But the thing is, like they
yeah.
went the direction they went into, and the fact that they didn't in the second one have a campaign, which is something that they were pushing for, and then they were like, "Oh, we canceled it." It's just like, well, that's a big fuck you to the consumers. It really is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I agree with you with Overwatch. I was a big fan of
To
the
the people who
original.
wanted that. Yeah, it was a
I
fun
I
game.
yeah, I played it a lot. I played so much. I spent so
There
much
was a
time
lot of
with it.
potential there, and
Yeah, and then
it's just
then they said they're gonna
mhm.
like the sequel and stuff like it's just the same game. There did
It's the same game.
nothing.
They
It's
change now tanks are more important, and this is more important. They add some character like Flower Man and stuff, and
yeah,
like there's just more of an agenda now in that game,
yeah.
and it's not that fun. And it's like, well, you guys didn't do a campaign. Well, you did some
And
campaign
it's like
levels,
one of the
maybe
characters
some.
there. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I think it's Tracer. I think, who's a
Yeah.
lesbian.
Yeah, she's a
It's like,
lesbian.
well, yeah, yeah, we
What?
knew.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
is. She is.
and we
Let
knew,
They
and I
wrote
was
that into
super.
the comics, I know.
Yeah, but we knew in the
lesbians.
original
Come on,
game.
man.
Yeah,
Yes.
but we knew that in the original game too. We understood it and all this kind of stuff.
Yes.
We didn't bother. We didn't get bothered by it. It's like, okay, she's a cool character, she's
Mhm.
cool skills and all that. We like her.
Yeah.
And then they started pushing that so much because of the
They pushed
agenda.
it more. They
Yeah,
pushed it
it's like,
more, like
come on.
Soldier and Reaper are gay together, like, it's just weird. It's not that they
Yeah, and they
can't
started
do this
push.
stuff, it's just weird,
You
and it
already had
doesn't.
it in the blueprints. She
Yes.
was already a gay character,
Mhm.
but it was organically from the beginning, and then suddenly, no,
the
no, no.
the
Now we're gonna push it and not
well
make it organic anymore, and that's
the
really important with it. Just
the joke
stop
that
it.
I always make, yeah, exactly, is that, well, who cares what their sexuality is and who they love and this and that? They're beating the
I care.
literal crap out of each other. Oh, do you, Baron?
Yeah.
Okay. They're beating the
Exactly.
literal crap out of each other in this game. So who cares what their backstory is? But Blizzard wanted to do a backstory. It's like, okay, so why don't you guys do an animated film or whatever of Overwatch and go from there? But they still haven't done that. So, no.
No. But no, again, Tracer was an amazing character before they were gonna
Yeah,
push it
Tracer was
really
great.
hard. But they, of course, they're gonna because
Diva and
yeah, yeah,
Widow and all these characters, they were cool, man. They were fun to play. The game was fun to play. When it started getting less fun is when people were like, "Well, this is a ranked match, but I don't really care about trying." Then it's like, okay, now this game is falling apart for me.
yeah. But
Always
that's
so
a issue
critical.
with the games. Me and Cash, we had a private conversation a couple of days ago, and we talked about a Life is Strange. Yeah, Life is
Yes.
Strange, the new one.
Oh
I was
boy.
excited. Okay, a lot
Yeah.
of people here who's been watching this us for a long time know how excited I was for the game. I was stupid enough to go into the trap and listening. I was stupid enough because I thought they actually they were listening for once. I hope of course the trailer it did its job. The trailer did its job, what it was supposed to
Mm.
do, bring us in. But the final product of the game is not what they promised in the trailer. Far from it. Now Max, the main character, she's gay. She has to be gay. In the original one, you could decide yourself what she
Hmm.
was.
Yes.
And they went that,
Choices, right?
yeah. And Chloe survived. None of the choices you did in the first game mattered
I
anymore.
hate that
She was
stuff.
apparently alive, and Max and her were stating they were together. They moved in together. They were a couple
Aw.
before breaking up. And then they added in this trans character, and oh god, I show we saw that, Cash. We went through that. Oh god,
Look, it
they,
just doesn't.
they
It
trash
doesn't.
YouTubers in the dialogue so
Yeah,
heavily,
they trash YouTubers, isn't there too? It's
heavily,
Wait a
heavily.
moment. You and Cash talk when you were not on the shows? Cash never talks to me. I'm
right,
jealous.
Baron. That is such a blatant lie, dude. What are you, a politician?
The hell you say?
Yeah.
And Hunty said, "Oh no, they did a bait and switch."
Hmm.
Look, I haven't played the second game. I know Jace does, but the first
Yeah,
game is so good and it's worth
I'm gonna
playing,
say
and
it like
so is
this.
Calm
I'm gonna
Before the
say it like
Storm worth
this. I'm
playing.
gonna say it like this. The prequel and the first game that came out, fantastic games. Set the second game, it's not the best, but it's still good. It's still enjoyable. It still had,
True
maintain the
Colors?
story.
You like True Colors? Oh,
No,
you
no,
don't
no,
count it.
no. We don't count True Colors as a
Okay.
Life is Strange game. I
Okay.
don't. I don't count a feminist character who looks like she wants to bang Lizzo or something. Um,
Come on, Lizzo's got the
and her.
ideal body. That's what we're told.
That's
She's
right.
up
Yeah,
there
yeah,
on Vogue
right.
magazines and all that.
Um,
Lizzo actually lost the weight recently.
yeah,
It's
she did.
crazy.
But
Yeah,
I,
isn't it amazing that
you're
she
a you're
decided
a
that was for the
character
team?
who can feel other people's feelings and stuff like that. It's all
Oh
about
boy,
emotions.
very exciting.
We need a
But
little bit of that,
Life
Jason.
is
It was
Strange
always about
2.
emotions, but it was more
Yeah.
than that. So yeah.
But in the second game, you are two brothers. The little brother has telekinesis powers, and there's a lot of stuff happening. I'm not gonna spoil the whole game for people who haven't played it. But there was a story there, and it made you have all the choices like the first game, and it connected really well to the first game and how the city was destroyed and people moving. You have some cameos of certain characters, and it all mashed up so well together, and you had a lot of different endings of how you play the story, and the bond between the brothers are amazing. The way you play it, it is emotional. They did a really well job on it. So the sequel, Life is Strange 2, is a really good Life is Strange game.
I'll have
And
to
then of
try it out. Okay.
Yeah, and then they came out with True Colors, total crap. Don't play it. I finished the game in three goddamn days. So easy game. It's the most easiest game I have played of Life is Strange. Story was bland. It was boring. You have a cameo of another character. Um, you can, but they still kept that you can choose to be gay or straight. That all depends on the player, what you want. But it was just horrible. A lot of these decisions made no sense, and it was made to cater a lot to the woke crowd and not the OG fans of Life is Strange. And a lot of us OG Life is Strange fans, we have been saying this for years, that we want a real sequel to Max. We've been talking about this for ages and ages and ages, and a lot of people were happy with it. Finally they listened. The trailer looked good. It looked like, the official ending where you let Chloe die. That was the original official ending at the time. That was basically confirmed, because what they also did, they made comics for the other people who wanted Chloe to live. They made comics out of that storyline to continue that storyline for the audience, where Max and she was gay and all that kind of stuff. So they did cater to both sides. Basically, they cared about both sides at the time.
It's
But
important.
now this new game only focused on one crowd, and they trashed YouTubers like us heavily. And the character had to be a trans character to say all of this, and how bigoted and racist and how horrible people we are. Um,
I'm
and of
for
course,
Yeah,
uh,
you are.
yeah, and they kind of just followed, mostly in a way. They cater to the comic book fans of the whole gay pride thing and stuff like that. The first two episodes are out there. I'm happy. I'm not gonna buy the game. Thank you that YouTube exists. Because what happened is that I almost went in the trap to pre-order the game. I almost did. I almost did. I will admit that. I'm man enough to admit that. I almost did, to play it early, because I was excited. But as good friends that I have here, we have a lot of discussion, and I started thinking of stuff Baron has said, Cash have said, and all that kind of stuff. And it made me think, like, am I really gonna let this affect me now? Am I gonna be this stupid now? I normally never pre-order. The few times I've done it was worth it, but am I really gonna be this stupid now to pay extra to play it early? Really? What the hell am I doing?
Well,
The trailer tricked me into doing this. It did its job, but I had to think, and it's like, no, I need to go back to who I really am, what I fucking stand for. So I did it. I spoiled the two first episodes on YouTube, something I normally never do when it comes to games I want to play. But it was this feeling, and thank to Baron and Cash and other friends that I have, made me remember that. And thank you for that, because I'm not gonna buy that piece of fucking crap game.
well, it's just they've dummied
And
down
if you
everything.
hey,
Mhm.
if you pay extra money for the
Mm.
game, you will have a little side quest, and you will have a cat in the game, but you have to pay extra for it.
Yeah, I know, it's stupid. Well, they just dummied down the
meow.
dialogue from the first game. They've dummied down. I hate that stuff too. It's not just like the agenda that's in the game that we saw. It was
When
the
the
fact that
trans
they dummied
character
down.
basically
Yeah,
said,
they dummied down
uh,
everything. Yeah, in the
yeah,
game, it's just messed
basically
up.
saying that I thought you were in a trance, not transsexual or transgender or any of these kind of stuff, just, being in a trance, you know? So they had to have a trans character say that term.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's not even all
Right on
that
your
too.
right on the face.
That's only just part of the game. It's that they dummy down the dialogue. You've got so you've got the less choices. They're not as
And the
I would
choices
say as
are, do you
animated.
wanna be
Yeah,
gay or do you wanna be gay?
right. Basically,
You
I
have
want to
no
be
choice.
and
gay.
every character that we have seen in the other Life is Strange, especially the first one, was so interesting and how fleshed out they were. These ones, they're just like, I say two lines of dialogue, two more lines of dialogue, and it's like, come on. And then there's
Yeah.
only two choices instead of four choices. like the original had. Yeah, they just all this goodwill has just been squandered in
and you
this
and
new
you
Life is Strange game, and
and
it's
you're going through
disappointing.
two. It's gonna for some people it's gonna be really difficult to play the game because you're going through two timelines:
Yep.
the
It's
dead
just
timeline and the living timeline.
I'm gonna tell people over and over again, stop having lower standards for this stuff. Have higher standards because you've seen this before, and you will hopefully see this again.
How dare you say that, Cash? Because
I know.
developers are telling us not to have those.
That's right. Exactly. I know.
I always will say, I I'm bisexual. I do not want to be catered to.
Did you know that,
I
Baron? I didn't know that.
Yeah, but in
I'm shocked.
all
And
fucking
I'm
in
so
all
shocked. I
I,
don't know if I can handle this.
I don't.
You
yeah,
know me.
Yeah,
I'm alt-right
yeah,
crazy, so I
that's
can't work
right.
with a guy like that.
You can't work with him.
but
Right. That's it.
yeah, right, yeah. He
Hey, don't drag me back in here in your den of
but
sin.
but in all seriousness, this is from the bottom of in my heart that I have. It's not all black, all black metal and all evil and devilish and Viking. I have a heart. Um, just because I'm part of the LGBT community, I do not want to be
He
catered
is. Oh my
this
gosh.
way. Yeah,
I
but in
didn't
all
know,
What?
Baron.
seriousness,
I
but
know,
no, no,
man.
no,
What?
no, no,
I'm
I'm
about
in
to leave
all.
again.
Yeah, no, but I'm in all seriousness. No jokes. No jokes. No.
Yeah.
Now it's from the bottom of my goddamn heart. I do not want to be catered to any way possibility. I just want a pure game, a movie, a TV show, a comic. I don't want to be catered to. If you want to make games like you did before with Life is Strange and Dragon Age, where you can basically choose your sexuality, that's great. I think that's great in games. Make people in these games choose themselves what they want to be. Don't cater and say, this is the way it is, this is how it is. And if you don't agree with it, you're a goddamn homophobe. And I can say to everyone that I know who is straight, to everybody who I know is straight, I lost a train of thoughts. Fuck. I
He was
was
going
gonna
on
miss
this
it.
rant.
Welcome
He
to
lost
my
it.
Yeah,
world,
yeah,
Chase. Welcome to
yeah,
my
yeah. I'm
world.
getting older. Yes, yes. Sorry,
Uh,
and I know a lot of my friends are being called homophobes. All this kind of stupid nonsense since the beginning when I started YouTube. And I will say, I have known these people for so long and I know them so well. They are more supportive people. They support they are more supportive of who I am and my sexuality than the gay premium community will ever be, because they understand it, they know it, and all this kind of stuff that community do not understand.
well, remember,
Well,
they always want to. Everything has to be to the extreme with stuff. It's like, okay, I want to do a new game. I want the main character to be trans. Okay, but or I want it to be gay, or I want it to be this. Okay, what what else are you going to do with the character? Is the main focus that is just their gender, their sexuality, their race,
Yeah,
whatever, or is there a lot
exactly,
more to it?
well,
exactly.
I gotta say this to Jace, and this is for real, from the bottom of my heart. I could give a fuck what your sexuality is. I don't
Exactly.
care.
Exactly.
That's not part of my litmus test.
That's right.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I say you guys are more supportive. Just listen to what you guys are saying. That's what I'm calling supportive, because you don't care, because it's not part of our personalities. Who we don't try to be better than anyone else. It's like, yes, oh, I like both genders. So fucking what? But the goddamn community of LGBTQ plus, gay premium, whatever, you're harming people like me in the real community. You are making people think that we want that stupid special treatment. We don't want any special treatment.
Many of them don't.
None of
There's
them.
probably some of them do, but there's other ones that don't. I'm sure of that.
Well, there's always narcissists somewhere.
Oh, there's
Of
always
course,
stupid people
of
too.
course. Yes,
But
always.
for me, it's a really important thing because it does affect my the real community, as I like to call it, and I'm people are taking me in the same thing with the woke people. Oh, you're bi, that means you're this, that means that you're that. You're harming a lot of us and make people think that we are like you guys. And it's gonna be a war that never ends. It's gonna be a never-ending circle when you do that. That's just what I want to say about that because since we were on the topic, I feel it's really important.
Yeah, I don't disparage Chase at all because of his sexuality. I just disparage him because he's Chase.
That's
Mm,
right.
Yeah.
exactly. And Hunty also said, because we are going to get into some other articles too, Hunty said, also making every companion like whatever way replay value, they forget that people have preferences. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And Techno Sapien Geek, aka Tom, if you haven't subscribed to him, please subscribe to our good friend and co-host. A great fucking guy. So please subscribe to him. He makes a good content, and he also make great books. And if you buy his book or get to read it, it's really impactful about mental health and how it really works. And he said, "Me and you have talked a lot on this for being for I'm bi also, and I'm 100% with you on this. Exactly, exactly." And Hunter
Uh,
said, "BRB, my stomach is trying to kill me." Hey, same here.
see, see, the thing is what I've kept in the closet about me. I'm a lesbian stuck in a man's body, so I ain't really got that problem. You know,
Yeah, exactly. And I
I mean,
I
I'm a
support
raging
you. I
lesbian.
support
I
you.
am a raging lesbian in a man's body. I tell you.
Yep, and I support you so much, man. You're
Mm.
strong, strong.
Well, enough
Uh.
of my odor.
But we are gonna get into another article. We have two articles left for the show. And Baron, no, I will not forget you this time.
No, no,
Yeah,
no. Please
Baron.
do, please do. I was hoping Kelson
Uh,
would stay around longer. He gets the next one, and when he was done, then it's the end of the show. I mean, we're coming to the 2 hour mark now. Really.
Yeah, right. But no, this is one of the main topics for because a lot more Dragon Age news have come out, and it also involved with why I talked also a little bit with the serious stuff that we talked about with LGBT stuff and other stuff like that. But Dragon Age Failguard, and I see that also Smash JT have started calling it Failguard. It actually has become a trend. It actually has. I just remember certain people said it long before you, Smash Trend, but you make great articles. Uh, but he wrote, Dragon Age, the Failguard is worse than we thought. Failguard awoke the EA mess worse than feared. The upcoming game Dragon Age Veilguard has been stirring up controversy among fans long before its release. It has. It has. Recent info leaked from a QA tester interview. And oh my god, it sounds horrendous. So again, take it with a grain of salt with certain stuff that is said on this article, just in case. But a lot of it does sound to be true because I have gone a little bit through it, and it's basically what the director of the game already have said with certain stuff. So it really fits of what that thing necromancer or thingy gender whatever they want to call themselves. I don't remember what they were. But it fits to what they said. Um, so, shout out to Nor, the YouTube channel. I think that's her. I don't know, but confirming our fears that the game is even worse than we imagine, according to the interview. Fail God is drowning in a mess of device, DEI, diversity, equality, and inclusion themes, alienating the fans of immersion and breaking choices and narrative decisions that detract from what could have been an engaging RPG experience. And we've talked about that, how to make Dragon Age, a Dragon Age game great. And that is again going back to the blueprints of what it was. Pronouns in BioWare. One of the first complaints brought up by the playtester is how Veilguard forces pronouns front and center, breaking the admission for many players. The Kunari companion, for example, introduces themselves as Jaga. I cannot pronounce that. I have dyslexia, so I cannot pronounce that word properly. Jarinagli, modern way. Sorry for my mispronouncing of it. I have dyslexia.
Did you pronounce
Jarringly.
Baron? There you go.
Jarringly.
Jarringly. Yeah.
Jarringly. Thank
It's
you.
a hard word.
Goddamn.
It's a hard
Mhm.
word.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is. It
Can't
is.
fault you.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And I'm Norwegian at the same time, and dyslexia doesn't work well
Yeah,
together.
she's Norwegian.
Yeah. It's, we fight too much and drink too much, or brain cells dies a lot.
They need a little help, a little bit more help
Yeah,
than
we
most
do.
people. Yeah.
But jarring in modern way, saying I'm not making this up. I identify myself as a non-binary, pulling up completely out of fantasy world of Failguard we're supposed to create. And so we have some questions on the Bioware Discord. And then we have, of course, can you choose your pronouns? She, he, they. And of course, yes, they can. That's right. And this is from the Discord to BioWare, by the way. Will the gender identify as a trans and non-binary rook be acknowledged in the game by other characters beyond pronouns? There are moments when you can disclose or discuss. However, disclose remains the right of the individual, so you have to make the choice yourself. So yes, you can. Is it? Yes, you can. You can use the terms pronoun stuff in the game if you're he, they, she,
Attack helicopter.
whatever. Yeah, attack helicopter or
Cash/Monet.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, or cash money. Exactly.
Baron
Uh,
Ormond Taggy Lee.
this
I'm a
heavy-handed.
tagasexual.
But this heavy-handed approach is more like for social commentary than any kind of natural character development, and it doesn't sit well with fans looking for a deep escapist RPG. And again, do we really need these words with they, trans? Do we really need all these words
Of
in the
course,
game?
man, because people
In
have to feel special in their own little way. Come on,
Yeah.
man.
But really, when you
Yeah,
said,
special.
this is a fantasy world, it's come on. We don't need in modern terms for things. Like, come on.
Well, they're just making it even more fantasy. They're just making it more fantasy, but in the wrong way.
I mean, this game's
In
not
the
even
wrong
going to
way.
have spiders. Not even an option because of people's arachnophobia. I get it. Spiders suck, but still,
What about
they
snakes?
do some good things. Yeah, I don't know.
People are scared
I
of
would hope
snakes.
so. True. True.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things people are afraid of. That's what these games are about.
Yep. There are. Yes.
You face things that scare you. If you're gonna be that nuts about seeing a friggin' spider that's been in games how often? If you survive that long,
Well, some people don't think
well,
it's a big deal that they took the spiders out and there's no option to bring them back. I'm like, really? Really?
I'm sure there'll be a mod for it if people really cared about it.
That's
They
right.
might not necessarily give a shit
Yeah.
about this game.
Just do
Right.
do what Hogwarts Legacy did. You can turn it on and off. Depends on what you want.
That's right.
Let
Yes.
the people choose.
Oh,
I
really?
agree.
I mean, I didn't know that. I mean, you
Yeah,
could
you
turn the
can.
spiders.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
I
can.
didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
But you have the option. That's what's important.
You do. You do.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So-
It's
I
not
mean,
about choice.
in a fantasy land, there's going to be, like you said, Baron, things that scare you. Snakes,
Yeah.
demons, whatever things. All kinds of different
yeah.
things, dude. Yeah.
There are people afraid of demon or demonic entities.
Sure. Of
There's
course.
people out
Yeah,
there that scared
exactly.
of, you know, all sorts of stuff that you throw into a fantasy game. I mean,
Exactly.
you make them bigger and you make them more frightening, and that's what it is. It's a fantasy game. It's for crying
Yeah,
out loud,
exactly.
D&D
It is.
Spelljammer had giant space hamsters.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
If they were
I'm not kidding.
intimidating,
I'm not
that's
kidding.
cool, though. Yeah.
But I'd
Yeah,
love to have
exactly.
one too. I would love to have a giant space hamster as a pet.
Yeah.
I would.
No, but it continues with one of the things that's been a lot talked about is romance options locked behind DEI themes. Romances in the game are also embroiled in controversy. Romances were intentionally gender locked unless you choose a pronoun other than he, him. To fully explore romance options, the player's character must be pansexual.
Oh,
So you're supposed to love
exciting.
pans. Okay, I understand now.
Yeah. But so if you choose, according to this, if you choose to be a he, they in the game, you can only date certain characters. But if you are pansexual, you can date every character.
Well, all pansexual is a fancy word for slut, or shall we say, a bisexual slut. I mean,
Yes,
honestly, that's what all
exactly.
it is.
Yeah.
Because it's just like there's a woman, there's a man, uh, and you might have a person who's trans, and there you go,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, it's like there you go. It's just a fancy imitation word to go out there and say that you are a slutty bisexual.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's a good good term for it. And but no, again, if you think about the older games, you could choose yourself, and certain characters you interacted with was either gay, bi, or straight. So it all depend on your choices in the story itself. You didn't need to have any pronouns or any sexuality choices. You just played the game, and then you met characters, and then you can decide yourself who you're mostly attracted to with your character and who you want them to be together with. That's all up to you. Well, you can swing both ways with a straight person and a lesbian woman in the game. If you're a woman, you can all these choices for
I
you. It's an
I want to be
RPG.
I want to be like Donkey and have a dragon. How's that? Can I have a dragon
Mm,
like Donkey?
they're not that exclusive inclusive here.
Oh damn it!
Um,
Then let's cancel that game. They're
yeah,
they
exactly.
they obviously don't understand people. There's
Yeah,
a lot of people that
exactly.
want to do it with a dragon.
Yeah,
Honestly,
exactly.
especially in fantasy roleplay, those people are so bigoted that they're not going to include that.
Yeah,
Those
exactly.
short-sightedness of them. I think
Yeah,
they need to be
exactly.
canceled for that until they have
Yeah,
dragon sex
exactly.
in there.
Yeah,
Just no
exactly.
bears.
Yeah. But otherwise, you're limited to only two romance options. Yeah, no bear sex on this channel. Um, Otherwise, you're limited to only two romance options, Nerve and Harding. While this mechanic may have been tweaking following the success of Baldur's Gate 3, or Bear Gate 3, as we like to call it,
Yeah.
Yes.
the original intent to lock romances behind identity politics has got to make you question what the fuck the devs were thinking here. Yeah, because this is really stupid. This is not how you do it.
No.
Just go back to the blueprints, how it was,
Just make this
and
an F95 game already. Come on. All you're doing with this is wanting to be obsessed about having sex, sex, sex. So
Mm-hmm.
just put it out that way. Don't call it Dragon Age. Just call it Dragon Fuck.
Let's try Dragon Fuck.
I,
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I
exactly.
mean, honestly, all of you guys are
Dragon sex.
obsessing
Yeah.
with this. No, dragon fuck. What the hell? Let's just
Okay.
rip the band-aid off,
Okay.
right? That's all you're obsessed with is sex, 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 and identity. This
Yes.
is a perfect
Yep,
game for F95. I mean, just put it out there. Just be honest now.
yep,
This is a game for hanging and banging, pumping and dumping.
That's right.
yep.
That's all it is.
Because that's one of the things that this creator of the game has been only talking about all the time, and that's what the whole game is
Uh,
focused on.
what what is this? She's this woman. Sorry, she's non-binary, even though she's a woman, and
Well,
she's a sexual mancer or what mancer was she calling
there.
herself?
Yeah.
Some bullshit
I don't
thing like
know,
that.
but
I don't know.
it's just everything from anything if you learn from Inquisition to going back with Origins and so a lot of things were fleshed out, and I'd have to
Yep.
play Origins again. It's been a long time. I don't know if I ever even finished it, but
Probably not.
there was a lot.
like your
There
video.
were funny, Baron. Uh, yeah, it was just these fantasy games. They should always be fleshed out with, and that's
Yep.
what I mean is you need to have these build up characters. You even go back to Icewind Dale, and you actually could build up your stats. You build up your name. You build up this. You build up that. Things happen. You go into a house and there's a giant wolf in there and you can be killed and your whole party can be killed by that wolf. And so then you have
Yep.
to figure out, okay, what do I need to do next? And that's what the same with Origins, how you're going to build your character, the same with
Yep.
Inquisition, the same with
Yep.
these other fantasy games, Japanese RPG games where you're fighting spiders, going in caves,
Yep.
talking to people. Like these should always be
Mm,
important.
Yeah.
And if
Not going around thinking about your gender
no,
and sexuality and who you want to bang.
no, and if there's a relationships that's building, it needs to cook, I guess you could say. It needs to actually just keep gradually saying, okay, maybe these characters can see it together, but maybe they don't want to because this is what's going on or this situation. But people, a lot of the companies nowadays, they don't like what's happened to BioWare. They don't care about these things. Even when you go back to Mass Effect, there was a lot of things you cared about.
Hmm.
Yes, you could bang this person and whatever, but there was other stuff going on because you had to save this character, or if you do
Yeah.
this or
Do
this
this and do
act.
that and actually do stuff.
And BioWare was always about choices, either Knights of the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic 2, which Obsidian did. So that wasn't, of course, BioWare, that was Obsidian. But still, it was always about choices. If you do this, this could happen. If you do this, this could happen.
It affects you and
Origins
this
was the
affects,
same
no.
way. Inquisition was the
Yeah.
same way. There was
Yep.
actually choices that matter. These are the
Yep.
things that should always be important in
AKA the
any fantasy
blueprints.
game. That's right. Any fantasy game, because we've had them so much. You go back to Ultima.
Yep.
You can even go back to the Game Boy games. There were choices that you had to make, and if you make the wrong choice, your character might die.
Yep. No,
Well,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just it. I mean, if you want to have a game that is, you know, you know, going out there with your sexual identity, hanging and banging, make an original game. It will sell. You do not need to co-op an existing
No,
property and tear it down. They didn't need to
no,
do it for Barrigate 3 and all the
no.
crap that they put in there, and they don't need to do it with Dragon Age. Make your own. Come
Yeah.
on.
Just make your own
And
goddamn
Make
that's the
your
game.
own.
thing, though. Even in Beargate 3, there's choices that actually matter, Baron, and that's one of the I'm
Yeah.
sure one of the reasons people like that game so much
Right.
is there's actually a lot of choices. There's other choices that don't make sense, but there is actual choices that will affect the game. Yeah.
Yep. And
Right. And but the thing is if you want to have something where you're going to have all that involved in there, I'm not a prude. I'll be the
Right.
first one to admit it. I'm not a prude.
Of course not.
Uh, you know,
yep.
I follow the what Orson Bean said. I may be a Christian, but I'm still a dirty old man. Uh, but do your own game. You know,
Yeah.
use that as a
Yeah.
template. Okay, we want this fantasy game, but we're going to do all this and no spiders, right?
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
fine. Now you got your own game out there. Steam will take it. You know, for crying out loud, some of the games they have on Steam. Whew, I mean,
Yeah.
with Stalin and a funny mustache guy and all that stuff, you can
Yes.
do things
Yep.
with for
Right.
games.
Right.
Uh, and all the other stuff. You can do that. Steam will take it. I'm sure Epic will take it, and you don't have to worry about a friggin' thing. And you can be more than
Exactly.
proud that you did it yourself. If you
Yeah,
want to
but
be proud about that stuff.
just
Yeah,
follow the
exactly.
basics of any fantasy game. You want to have terror,
Hmm.
you want to have revenge, you want to have this, want to have
Hmm.
that,
Yep.
want to go into towns, talk to people, want to make sure things are interesting. Hey, I need help. And like people in the town, those are good things. I got to build up my ship. I've got to go sail somewhere. In the newest East game, there's like a more of a Viking theme. Just so you know, Jace, I know you've been looking at those East games lately.
Hmm.
Yep.
After I showed you that one, there's a Viking theme more in this one. So you know,
Yep.
mhm,
No, exactly. And also it does continue because we're gonna continue with this too. And also talking about this because this is this is true. We knew this was happening with the game because the original game, when they announced Dragon Age, Dreadwolf was the original name.
Hmm.
Dreadwolf. Why was it called Dreadwolf? Yes, because you look at this guy, the goddamn traitor in Inquisition. He
Yeah, he's
is
from
the
Inquisition.
Dreadwolf.
Yeah. Hmm.
He is the Dreadwolf. He is the traitor. And he is the big bad. He was supposed to be the big bad in this game. But they decided to change the name. And we understood that he was being more pushed away. And what they
Right.
say, Solus and Rook, key characters sidelined, something that we expected after I changed the name and all the nonsense they've been saying. As if the gameplay issues weren't enough. Beloved characters like Solus, yes, he's a well fleshed out, amazing character who is, playing nice from the beginning until he reveals his dark secrets. And of course, Rook, being treated like yesterday's news in Failguard. Solus, a fan favorite character from Dragon Age Inquisition, is being sidelined for most of the game. And if he is gonna be sidelined of most of the game, that we understood basically when they changed the name, you're changing the whole concept of why we had this game in the first place. It was gonna continue the saga from the last game with
Hmm.
him as the big villain and the traitor, and that would have been a great goddamn story, even when you're a new character and stuff like that. But it's gonna be a lot of fun to finally see him again, battle him, and like you, if you have played Inquisition, you know his story and all this kind of stuff. So you still have this hate and love relationship with him, and it's gonna be impactful, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Um, so you had all that was supposed to be in this game, relegated to a minor role with the title importance until suddenly becoming relevant later, far later. Worse yet, the ending is described as a baffling and not in a good way, leaving many folks worried about how the story will be handled to pivotal character, this pivotal character. Meanwhile, Rook, voiced by, of course, Erika Eishi, who is a really crazy, agenda-driven activist woman who is also voicing in the new Ghost of Tsushima game and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
and
you can
all the
see it in the eyes.
nonsense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Ghost of yeah.
and even if the game is
Yokai. Yeah.
even if the game can win people over, and we don't know about that yet, the
Right.
game can go both ways. But if the
Yo.
game, we can say it like this: if the game turns out to not be bad, but she and the people in the industry can destroy the game if they don't shut the fuck up of what they're doing, they will be the death of the game, even if the game is good.
Yeah.
They will be the death of the game. They will kill the game.
Yeah. They
Um,
need to go out and talk about the game, not all the other BS. It's
yes,
just, yeah,
exactly,
we got
Baron.
some exciting things going there. It was great voicing this character.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You'll be
Right.
surprised with what you're able to do with this character and where the gameplay goes.
Well,
Plenty of excitement, but no spiders.
it would be also nice for these people to say, "Look, I'm so much more than my sexuality, and I just want to put together a good performance." Why can't we ever get that? Oh, right, that's too common
Yeah,
sense. Excuse me.
yeah, too common
Well, yeah,
sense. It's like, just whatever you believe in politics, your sexuality, whatever it is, just focus on creating a good game. I don't
right.
care who you want to bang. I don't really care about your goddamn political view. Just make a game, no political agenda on it, or
Oh yeah,
stupidity.
not the political
Just
agenda that doesn't fit for sure. We don't need that. If
you
it
don't need
fits,
stuff like
then
that at
fine.
all.
If it doesn't, no.
Exactly. So, at least, her character is an other significant character. Is reduced to a shadow of his former self. Rook is now apparently a little bit more than a side character. just a guy in a bar with a backstory that was wasted. But nothing to the plot for longtime fans. This treatment again feels like a betrayal of the characters they have had grown attached to over the years. Inquisition, and choices, and it's Mass Effect 3 again, according to the playtester. I have not too much experience with Mass Effect 3 and all those games. So I'm gonna ask, for example, Cash and Baron, do you have any more information that you want to can say about Mass Effect 3?
None for me.
Well, I played the hell out of it, but
Hmm.
it's a good game. I think when people say it's not, I think that's unfair. It's a good game, but you can tell certain things are rushed. You can tell because they made relationships very important in that game from the first one, or starting with the first one, I should say. Uh,
Yeah,
they, it's just the ending. The whole thing was that all your choices were supposed to matter when you got to Mass Effect 3.
I
So if you made
didn't.
these choices, no, they didn't. And so it's like, oh wait, why is that bug or giant ant thing loose? I had that killed in the first game. Like, why is this
Hmm.
happening? Um
Mhm.
everything, the character, Cortez, I think it was, we know he's gay. It doesn't matter. Like, he's so much more than being gay, because there's always been
Yeah,
lesbians and gay characters in that game, but they were always so much more, and that was never really the main focus of the character. Every character would add something, but it just was very disheartening to people. And I remember putting together a topic on this: who they couldn't be with at the end of the game. They weren't allowed to be with this.
yeah,
Like, you had to be with Liara, you had to be with these
yeah,
people, which is fine if that's who you picked. But if you wanted to be with Miranda, you couldn't be with Miranda at the end of the game. And it was annoying to people. And I can understand that, because
yeah,
they built this up. They said your choices were going to matter. Casey Hudson at the time said your choices were going to matter, and this will always
Hmm.
tick people off because they didn't matter. And so they said it was not going to be A, B, C, D endings. That's exactly what happened in Mass Effect. Yet Mass Effect is still a 7 out of 10 game overall, I would say, because it
uh,
is a good game and it is worth playing. But that ending is just the only thing I ever saw with Shepard. Spoiler alert, whatever. This game's been out a number of years, is destroying the Reapers. Now, they had a script that got leaked that people tore apart, unfortunately, that they were going to say, okay, the humans and the other aliens are going to fight and the Reapers are going to fight something that's even more terrifying. And I'm like, that could have been cool. And even though, spoiler alert again, that Shepard died, or like his last breath or whatever, like, you have to do certain things to get this ending. uh, it was just like, well, they could have done so much more. And the joke is always
yeah,
that Joker in the game took all of Shepard's women because he had passed away. So, yeah.
yeah. So let's see what they had to say why they say it's Mass Effect 3 again. According to the playtester, the Inquisitioner from the previous game is painted as a corrupt, with the Inquisition itself playing a negligible role regardless of whether you disbanded it. Worse yet, the game choices apparently don't matter, echoing the disastrous final of Mass Effect 3, as you basically mentioned, Cash. Um, that the choices really didn't matter as much. Where the illusion of choice left players with the same unsatisfying endings, regardless of their decision. This is ultimately given an overall lack of meaningful consequences in Failguard. And that's a shame. That's a shame. Choices with these games should matter. You know what I mean?
Well, that's how it
Should
was set
matter.
up
Yeah,
with BioWare.
exactly.
Yeah,
Knights of the
should
Republic.
matter.
Your choices always mattered. Whatever you did in
Always
that game.
matter. Always gonna matter. And sure, to disappoint fans hoping for any kind of meaningful and impactful storytelling, but also with the creator of this game, we know it was not gonna have any meaningful and impactful storytelling, because they cared a lot more about who they're gonna bang than the story itself.
Right, right.
Um, Graphics and animation. A drawer meta all over again. The player tester didn't hold back when discussing the facial animations in Failguard. Well, it looks like really crappy version with Fortnite. Um, Discussing the facial animations in Failguard, either describing them as plastic, comparing them to the infamous Mass Effect Andro Meta. They mentioned that many of the characters look emotionless. They do. We have seen that. They look horrible and no emotions. We've seen
Yeah,
all that.
well, even in Starfield, like there could be more emotions, aren't we? To that point, we've seen more emotions before.
Yeah, we've seen multiple times
Mhm.
back in the day. And also, the character creation here is also really bad when it comes to the bodies and other stuff like that at the same time. So this game has all the red flags of every single thing. Every little single thing you can think of, this game has. Maybe it will beat Dustborn.
I
Who
want them
knows?
to give us a create. I want them to give us a creation tool so we can make a character and see what we can make with it. I thought that would be funny, but they haven't done it
Yeah.
yet.
No.
Mm.
They mentioned that many of the Kia emotions giving rise to now notorious "My face is tired" meme. Okay.
Yes.
Given the fail guard is supposed to be the next gen RPG. Yeah, I think it's gonna be the next gen most amazing RPG ever created. Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna sell out everything. It's gonna be a lot better than the originals. Uh, the poor animation quality is another major red flag that fans will find hard to overlook. Yes, we will. Tester feedback ignored. One of the most damning revelations from the player tester, playtester, is how the feedback on the game development has systematically ignored in order to push the lead developer's vision, especially when it comes to it touches on the game's heavy-handed woke themes. The playtester noted that the higher ups even acknowledged that the feedback was very good, but claimed it couldn't be sent to the developers. That sounds really bad. That sounds really bad. What do you guys think of that? That
Hmm. Hmm. Sounds fishy.
sounds really fishy. If this is true, that is really fishy, and it sounds like this could be true. With in this damage. What do you
Oh,
think, Cash? How do you feel about that?
oh, I
Oh,
think
I mean, yeah,
he
he's
stepped away. He
BR.
stepped away.
He
Hey,
stepped
Canadian
away.
Spider Man's here. I didn't notice that. Sorry
Yeah,
about
hail to
that.
Canadian Spider-Man. I did say it to him in the chat.
Oh, look up.
Oh,
Oh, Viking style. Okay, wow.
I did buck and butchered it myself yesterday. Handed it's hanging outside in front of my. Oh yeah. Right, right. I remember. Yeah. That was nice, man. That was nice, man. I wish I had any idea about games, but it's still fun listening to y'all. Thank you, man. And Viking, you don't understand what
I
you
didn't
meant
know
with
much.
Viking style. Then I know what you're meaning, brother. It's good shit, man. How many points on that rack, Canadian? Yeah, that's two Canadian. But it sounds really fishy that it was claimed that it couldn't be sent to the developers. Like the feedback should go to the developers, and they should listen to the feedback if it is a bad game, if there's something bad in the game, and technology in it, whatever it is, they should listen to that feedback. And the reason I
Oh yeah,
say it feels like this could be true is because again, who's the developer of this game, who's creating this game, it's a goddamn person, right? And they care more about again being your gender, your
yeah. The check
pronouns.
boxes.
Yeah, the pronouns, pronouns. uh and of course that yeah, who you're gonna bang, no spiders.
Yeah,
and all
sorry about that, Canadian Spider Man. They don't want you.
Yeah, and all the check boxes, and again, the creator of this game, the developer and creator of this game, said straight out, it's gonna be a queer safe community with this game. It's gonna be queer safe. It's gonna be this. You're gonna feel included, etc., etc. You know, all that's that's all this person is focusing on. I've
Well,
basically never heard this person talk about the game itself other than these topics.
yeah,
It's crazy.
it's a sad state, and that's why they're failing. That's why they're laying people off at these companies, and why you're having like Concord, boom,
Yep.
hardly out, and it's basically canceled.
Yep.
They're just offering half-made games, crap, and again, the pronoun situation. These are more important than playing. A good game is queer friendly. A good game is accepting. You're playing a character.
Yep.
If the game was let's go out there and smear the queer as one of the games was, yeah, then that isn't.
Yep.
But no one puts out a game like that. I mean, seriously, puts a game out like that.
Yep.
And you sit down, you play, and it's friendly because why? It's a good game.
Yeah.
Don't get butthurt over that. But you're so concerned about your identity and your,
Yes.
let's face it, more importantly, it's not that. Your narcissism and your hubris.
Yes.
You're more obsessed
Yep.
about that. Think about how damn important you feel that you are. That you just don't get it. You're just too full of yourself. And to be honest, we're tired
Exactly.
about that. It's not your sexuality we're fed up about. It's your attitude.
Always.
Yep.
You're that spoiled brat everybody talks about. It is time for
Yep.
the developers and everybody else to quit listening to the spoiled brat and say,
Yep.
well, you have one of two choices. Enjoy the game or go off in the corner and fuck yourself.
Mhm.
In that order.
And while we're at it, fuck you, Mark Hamill, just fuck you.
Oh no.
Exactly, exactly. And also, since Cash, you're back, how do you feel about what we just said? I don't know if you heard it, but with the feedback that the feedback was very good, but claimed couldn't be sent to the developers itself.
I just you've got to have people testing your game. I think it's important to give you some good feedback. They're doing a lot of things wrong with this game, and they're not. I feel like if you're going to do anything with fantasy games, follow the D&D blueprint to an extent because it is the
Mhm.
foundation. So just go with that. Let's get the cool characters. Let's get this. If some character comes up to you and says I'm gay, I think the response should be, what am I supposed to do with this? Are we gonna fight? Like I don't really give a shit
Yeah,
about this. Like I'm just
exactly.
being honest. It's weird. Like you need feedback. Just like I remember back in the day when you're testing a game and you're just playing the game, because there is a difference between testing the game, actually
Yeah,
going through
and
crevices and different things,
yeah,
and
and
actually
I
playing it.
can also vouch for this because yes, I have a game with another person on Steam that we created and all that kind of stuff with
Yeah, you did.
other people on the team. What
Hmm.
did we do before ever releasing it? We had streams, early streams showing off the game, test played it ourselves. We got guests and other people out there to test play it, finding bugs, finding what would need to be fixed. We went through all this kind of stuff before we ever wanted to release the game. We had test players and we listened to the goddamn feedback.
Yeah. Hmm.
And that's also why we wanted to stream it because the viewers we had, if they saw something, what they think, and it's like that's also good feedback. We were playing it and we got feedback from the game and all this kind of stuff. It's like we did our goddamn job. We take the feedback, and if the game is not good enough the way we want it to be, we're gonna delay the game as long as we have to, and we're gonna be damn sure that this game is gonna be the way we vision it, and we want to make the best game possible for the audience, for the people who wants to buy it and play it. Right? That's
Yes.
what you do.
And the thing
It's
is
helpful,
Huntley's
yes.
absolutely right. They don't want to have feedback because it's,
No,
sometimes it can be critical. You're
that's right.
doing this wrong, we feel, or whatever. And they don't
Yes,
want that. They want validation.
that's
They
right.
want, again, these
Yeah,
people are narcissistic and have a bunch of hubris to them. The last thing they want to hear
yeah,
is they didn't do something right, or they made a mistake in doing something, or maybe a certain path isn't going quite the right way. And you can be as polite as
yeah.
possible to point that out there,
And
and
Yep.
and
they'll lose their
Tom,
shit.
But the
yeah, and
nice thing
Tom,
is now we're getting more demos on Steam because people do want feedback, and it's like, well, good.
yeah,
This
some
this
people
is good.
want, and
Mhm.
but Tom also says something here. I swear they don't hire testers anymore, but they just say early access, and it's a tired excuse.
It is. There's only some
Well,
early
I'm
access games that I actually enjoy. The other ones, no, no. Mm.
Yeah, and it depends on the companies, the people behind it, who
Yes.
cares, who doesn't care. Like these people do not care, and a lot of other people like them do not really care about that. They're just like, yeah, as long as we have gay this, gay that, black this, black that, we have all these agendas. Yeah, it's fine. We don't need
mhm.
the testers. It's fine. We're just gonna do the early
Well,
access, and we see how it is. And if there's stuff we need to fix, yeah, we might fix it. At some point, and you're gonna
yeah,
just yeah,
there's a indie game that I watch on the tube and in early access. It's called, I'll say it, Contractville. A rather interesting game going across there, and you're hearing the guy saying, yeah, what he likes about it, what he doesn't. And the devs are very receptive. It's like you go to their Discord page, you tell them stuff, and they'll sometimes change it right overnight. That why they care. And yes, the players are guinea pigs for the game, but they are taking what you're saying serious and fixing it as fast as possible in that game. And I can understand it's an indie. That helps them. That helps them make a better game. But when you come around to the big companies out there, Bethesda and all the others, and yeah, don't fall for the fact that, oh, Bethesda's just a little company. Yeah, they have 400 people and they got Microsoft behind them. Okay,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not a
exactly.
little game company.
And I can
They
also
could
say it
do
like
better in
this,
that area.
and don't be like the people who created, Craftopia and Pal World also, because they have early access for years and they don't fix
Mhm.
stuff when it's gone many years. They
Right.
barely fix anything and they don't really listen. I just That's one of the big problems with them, even though I enjoyed some of the stuff they do. But that's, one of the big problems too. You have those people too out there, unfortunately. It's gonna be in early access for the rest of their life. Nothing's gonna be fixed, and a full version will never come out,
Hmm.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
yeah. For
So
some company, it turns into that laziness. Others, they are
yes,
really serious about it, and
yep,
and then even when it is released officially, they still do changes if need be. Because
yep,
why? They care. They're a little company. They're building up. A
yep,
lot of these are European companies, and they seem to be taking a lot more care in the games. The ones that do like Contraband Police, like uh, Police Simulator. They really, they really heartily take in the suggestions and try to appease the player. And like I said, also this contract film. And these games are intriguing me far more than what the big corporations are doing because let's face it,
yep,
they're really game boring. Oh, let's have another player versus player first person view game, like Call of Duty and all the others. Let's make another one like that. Well, it gets boring.
it
Let's
does.
branch out in these indies. Yeah, the
Yeah,
graphics might not be that sharp as the other games, but they're still good.
yeah,
You
and
can
they give
still
you
play
so
with
much
them.
more. They give you so
Right,
much more.
right. And
Um,
for little companies that's trying, it's
yeah,
like, hey, yeah, I can, yeah, sure, it's not that top tier, but everything still looks good.
yep. No,
And
exactly.
that's I'm slowly I put in my wish list on the Steam so I remember which games are which. Um,
Yep,
and even on the scale, which one I want to get the most, and so on and so forth, when I can able to pick up games. And yeah, less and less of your big name studios are on there, and more of these third parties are. And
Yep,
and
exactly.
yeah, the thing is that helps me is watching some of the gameplay on these games because I'm actually
Yep,
curious and I want to hear what they have
exactly.
to say about it.
Exactly. You're right on the money, Baron. And also, they continue with in instance, the woke elements are untouchable, and any critic of them is not allowed, regardless of the negativity impact on the gameplay and the story. This is not how quality game development has ever worked in historically. And yes, I'm speaking from personal experience when it comes to the Q&A. There needs to be a give and take, a meeting of minds and understanding that is met. None of that looks to ever have happened here with the game. And it continues with the Grey Warden decisions based on identity politics. So,
Yeah,
are you gonna basically make the Grey Wardens white toxic men?
looks a little gray.
That's Quinari, and they look
Oh, okay,
really
I'm sorry.
horrible. Yeah, they look horrible. They don't look menacing or cool anymore. They look like Fortnite characters with baby faces. I don't like
Yeah,
that.
they look weird.
Um, the woke ideology bleeds into the game's lore in troubling ways as well. Grey Warden, Dravian, I always mispronounce names. Sorry. A new character who never completed his training is given the power to make a critical decision for the Grey Wards. The only explanation, he is a person of color, because of course, and allowing him to be the fast tracked into leadership role despite of his lack of experience. You can't make this stuff up. This kind of approach to decision making based solely on identity politics rather than merit or story progression. In other example of fail god prioritizes DEI over cohesive narrative. Worse yet, they act like it's totally normal having implemented push agendas much. And of course, we have gameplay problems. The fade and major characters sidetracked. The player tester also highlighted that a significant portion of the gameplay includes a selection set in the fade. It's nothing more than a boring walking simulator. And I've seen some, gameplay here and there, and it's a lot of walking. It's a lot of more walking than anything else in the game. Maybe because you don't have spiders, maybe. Who knows?
It's walking simulator. That's what it is.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Simulator.
Walking and
Walking,
sex simulator.
walking sex, and telling everybody what your pronouns are, and being
Yeah, that's the
annoying to
same.
everybody. And I'm
Yes.
waiting for the vegan mode to come in there.
Yeah, yeah. I want the vegan
Uh,
mod too. We need
So
the vegan
they
stuff.
have to have another annoying thing that they do put in there, and letting you
Yeah.
know every 5 fucking minutes that they're a
Yeah.
vegan or there's this type of sexuality. Walk, 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 and
Yeah.
on about the patriarchy and walk, 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 and probably say
Yeah,
about how
exactly.
great Taylor Swift is.
Exactly. Exactly. Filled with the fetch of quest, this wasted opportunity, emblematic of the game that seems to have lost focus on what makes a great RPG. Yeah. On top of all of that, major characters like Varric, a great character, are recollected to the role of Advi source, pushed to the sidelines rather than playing an integral part in the story for fans who have followed these characters across multiple games. This is shaping up to be a major letdown. And yeah, I love his character. He's a fucking fun character too. And back in the day when you could, choose to play as your companions, he is one of the main companions that I do like to play. Um, So in conclusion with it all, a woke slop mess. It's clear that the playtester first-handed account on Nurse YouTube channel that Failguard is shaping up to be yet another DI-filled mess in the landscape of gaming slop, from forced pronoun discussions to sidelining beloved characters and ignoring meaningful feedback. The game is marred by poor design choices that prioritizes, that the politics over quality gameplay. Fans of Dragon Age, of the Dragon Age series and the RPGs in general, should brace themselves for impending disappointment as the Fail Guard looks to deliver a little bit more than just a hollow experience cloaked in the skies of progressive storytelling. And of course, but do not worry. If you're here for the the agenda, I have found this game for you. So this game just gets worse and worse every time we hear about it, and we know that this person who creates this game is gonna talk more and more about this game, and when it's closing up, and we know exactly what they're gonna talk about, and we do know when some people play it and critics are coming out, the people who doesn't like the game are gonna be the most
Of
biggest
course.
bigots and homophobes, racists and
Got it.
sexists
Always.
and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I
Uh,
can write. I'll write the response down for them, so make it
Yes.
easy for
yeah,
them. I'll probably
That's
use.
right.
I'll probably use some words so they don't sound like the simpletons that they are, and the
That's
words
right.
that
yeah,
they try to pretend to use that sound big
Mhm.
and only. Because to be burdened is then to be unburdened, and growing up in a middle class family is hard because you have to keep your lawn that way, which burdens you. But we must be unburdened of that burden that comes
Oh,
about.
I
Yeah,
see.
I
yeah,
Very
see, I
good.
see.
see.
Yeah, I went to
Um,
Kamala Harris School of Fancy Talking. But no,
Ah,
but the thing is,
um,
I can make something so they don't sound like that because that's exactly how they're going to sound.
yeah, exactly. And again, I've said this on one stream before, and that is the Dragon Age we love will not continue. Unfortunately, it will not continue.
doesn't sound
In
like
this
it.
game,
Not with these people on
not with
in
these
on
people, and how it's been from the
from
beginning.
BioWare.
And
Mhm.
Yeah,
but as I've said, what the good thing that we have with this with Dragon Age, we still have the original games. We also have an older animated movie with Cassandra, her backstory. Not the best animation, but still a really great goddamn movie with her. And we do have a lot of comic books, old comic books, and and also a lot of old books of a lot of lore, a lot of characters, a lot of build
right.
up, and a lot of stuff that we care about. And I have not read everything, and but I have a lot of stuff on my list of the stuff I've not read in the Dragon Age universe. So that's what I'm gonna look forward to. Is that I am gonna continue reading this universe from the old age of comics and books and learn more about the universe of the stuff that I don't know about it. So at least we have that. So that's at least a
Well,
good thing.
isn't that what we're all doing though? With everything out there,
It
we're
is.
going
It
back
is.
to we're
Yeah,
going back to
you're
the old
right.
days
We
when things
are.
were good. Be it
We,
Star Wars, Star Trek, Dragon
Marvel,
Age,
DC.
right? It's like, well, we don't need your crap. We already got good stuff that was in here before you
Yeah,
ruined it. So, I
exactly.
mean, that's what we're doing with just about every one of these IPs, and that's what's destroying them.
Yep.
We don't
No,
want
exactly.
their stuff, but we're still reading and we're still fans of our heroes, just not
Yeah.
their representation of our heroes or our IPs.
No,
Those we black
exactly.
pill. The other ones we gather up in a warm embrace with a nice hot chocolate in one hand and a blanket in the other as we sit and read throughout the night, going,
Yep.
yeah, this is the way.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And no, the only good part of this game and all the other stuff, it just makes us want to go back more and more and find
Hmm.
even stuff we have not read before, develop more into this kind of stuff. And that's what's great about it. You're showing that a lot of us fans, we are still fans of these universes. We love these universes. We don't hate the universes. We're just passionate fans who wants to escapism. We want to read. We
Right,
want to play these games. We want to do all this kind of stuff and have
right,
great entertainment. And you're just making us buy and read more old stuff that's selling well.
right.
So that's a good part with it. And if you're gonna, there are at least there are a couple of people out there who does respect source material and all this kind of. We still have certain people out there, and that's the people that I praise in the industry. The people that cares about the IPs, don't want to
Right.
push their own agenda or anything like that, but they wanna respect the source material. Maybe do a small twists here and there, and that's fine. Look at Lord of the
Hmm.
Rings, for example. They changed Peter Jackson did change certain stuff here and there for the
Hmm.
better to make it into a film format.
Right,
Of course, there were things a lot of us wish that was there, but I can also understand why the changes because again, you have to make it all fit into a movie. So I understand it. But one thing he did, and he will always be on, is that you have to respect the source material, the original writer, where it comes from, and it's
right.
not your story. You are
Hmm.
creating a story from another person, and you're gonna respect that.
Right. I mean, it's a translation, so obviously you're going to have to do some changes from a book to a movie or to a TV show,
Exactly.
because things don't necessarily transcribe verbatim from the one media to the other. So you do the best you
Exactly.
can to translate it, and whatever changes you make so it can fit in there. That's exactly it. You try to make sure it fits and is part of that,
Exactly.
and they don't understand that.
Exactly. And you're so right about that. So no, and that's the same thing, you know. We are gonna get in one last article because I'm gonna let you read. I'm not gonna forget you.
Yeah. Where Kelton? Damn it! Get back here.
Hey, Kilton,
Can't.
you did a good job today.
I'm mad at Kilton now. I'm really mad at him.
And but
Uh,
no, it's at
uh,
least we still have a certain people out there who is like that, and that's also why I want to defend the Crow movie,
mhm,
because it was accurate on so many levels, even though it changed for the more modern world. Just
mhm,
so people know, and I just want to say again because I recently did a reread of it again, and I
mhm,
totally forgot about this when I watched the Crow movie. People are complaining about the beginning of the movie with the white horse.
mhm.
Well, again, that's in the goddamn comic, bro. The horse, he sees the horse the same way as in the comics, and
Well,
way the horse dies. Basically, that's how it happened in the comics. Just so people
well,
know.
sometimes those that say they know so much about the comics don't exactly know about what they're talking.
Right. Or they
Yeah,
forgot about it. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
and again,
Well,
I
yeah.
also said this about the Crow, the new one. Um, I I am one of the people that praised that. It's weird to say, but Eric in this movie has done self harm, and that's a homage to the comics because the Crow Eric, he actually did do self harm in the
Mhm.
comic. It is a dark story. Just so people out there, that's why I say I praise the movie for a lot of things when it comes to that new one.
Right.
But we're not going to talk about, of course, all that now. Now we're going to talk about this one.
Okay, so we got this story from Bounding into Comics, written by J.B. Augustine. It is October 22nd, 2024, which it came out 2 days ago. And this is rather interesting news, I think. Bela Lugosi starred in a remake of the infamously lost Lon Chaney film, London After Midnight, that still exists, begging for rediscovery. And there we see Lon Chaney and Bela. A great many films are mourned for vanishing without a trace, especially ones that didn't survive the silent era. However, perhaps no other from that period The Hands of Fate, rendered unavailable, has amassed the kind of reputation London After Midnight has. Due to its legend, age, and status, it almost has a forbidden fruit quality that might make its most desperate seekers
I thought
wish
I had
they
problems reading.
yeah, well, I guess I take dyslexia too, but wish
You're good,
they could.
man.
No, I'm not. Procure a lone remaining print from a foreign black market. Uh-huh. And why not? The spooky picture starred the inimitable Lon Chaney Sr. under one of his strangest and most celebrated DIY makeup jobs. The kit of tricks that gave the man his thousand faces is still renowned today, even though most people who beheld its magic in his prime aren't around to brag. Lost to time or not, Cheney with his big eyes, jagged razor teeth, wild hair, and top hat is so recognizable 100 years after the design debuted that you can still find it on $10 and $20 shirts. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. In 100 years, I don't even want to think about that. London After Midnight is also special because it is one of Cheney's most well known collaborations with director Todd Browning. Browning's star would fade after the ambitious and scandalous Freaks ruined his career, but in the late 1920s, he was at the top of his game and nearly ready to break into the sound era with some serious teeth belonging to a certain Transylvania count. When it came time to make Dracula, Browning had Cheney in mind before the actor's untimely death from cancer. And well, look at that. Before that, in 1927, Browning would hit the premiere on Vampires with Cheney in a murder mystery at the heart of London that would normally summon Sherlock Holmes. Without giving too much away, two vampiric wraiths, a pale woman and Cheney's Hat Man, appeared to be the new tenants of an estate someone died in 5 years ago, allegedly by suicide. It's a suspenseful story, though not your typical supernatural parable. To avoid spoiling anything, I'll leave my description there. However, despite the courtesy I'm showing, seeing the mystery unfold for yourself proves difficult, although not impossible, as you'll soon find out. The last known copy of London After Midnight went up in smoke in a 1965 fire that engulfed MGM's Vault 7. Oh, God. Imagine what got lost in there. And a cruel twist of fate, this happened 3 years after Browning's death, following decades in obscurity. And there's Todd Browning there on the set of Freaks.
Yeah.
That appears to be the sad and unfortunate end to the story, but only for those who don't dig deeper and ask the right questions. Much like Lawrence Fishburne was memed to death for asking when he played Morpheus, what if I told you there was another way to see London After Midnight? That there's another version of it out there you can watch right now, and that it stars a bigger cinema icon than Lon Chaney. In 1935, Browning remade his gothic horror picture as Mark of the Vampire and tapped Bela Lugosi, who recently made his name as Dracula, and the most iconic of portrayals, and was at the height of his fame to play the title Being. But with a twist, Lugosi didn't come alone either, as he co-starred alongside fellow genre stalwarts Lionel Atwell and Lionel Barrymore. And they have to throw this in, Drew's great uncle. Yippee. The story, and the payoff, which again I'll spare spoiling, are the same. So is the choice of filming in black and white, although that goes without saying. The only real difference is Mark was made with three things in mind: contemporary audiences, their ingrained desire for talkies, and their liking of the macabre style only the team of Browning and Lugosi could deliver at that point. The cast is also even more of an ensemble than London and didn't require any actors to pull double duty as Lon Chaney did for the latter years before. Moreover, it might surprise you to learn some people prefer the sound version more and say, based on accounts of people who saw its more notorious silent forebear, you're not missing much. And there's a poster for Mark of the Vet. Look at that poster, man.
That is a great poster, man. You also feel really intimidated, you get like the vibe that you want from it.
And
That,
she is even more creepy than Bela.
yeah, like you would run away if you saw that. Woke up and seeing that over your bed. You're like, hell no, I'm gonna run.
Yeah, it was like, feet don't fail me now. And up still I
Yeah.
go. Arguably, London After Midnight coasts on a grandiose reputation derived from Lon Chaney's impressive garnished makeup and the fact the film is missing, to put it nicely. You yourself might find out you prefer Mark of the Vampire, but you have to see it first. It can be found lingering in the shadows on Hulu and elsewhere. Oh. That if that won't do for classic cinephiles, Turner Classic Movie shows it every year for Halloween, which is, by the way, fast approaching. Just so
Okay,
you
so it's
know.
hey, just to interrupt you for a second, it is pronounced Cheney. My brother said something about it, so it's not
Yeah,
Chauny, it's
Lon Chaney.
Cheney. Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
We're here to help you,
I'm
Baron.
so
Continue.
so.
You help me, we help you. You're
That's
right.
right.
Chaney.
Yes,
It's
we do.
Lon Chaney. Okay.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry, but it's still Bela. That's the proper way to say Bela Lugosi. It's not Bella. It's Bela. So I don't care what your brother says. Pro tip: should you have YouTube TV, look up Mark of the Vampire in your search bar. It's probably DVR'd for you already. Oh, and that comes to the end of that story.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I know people love the modern, hack slash blood gore everywhere. But I mean, if you want gothic horror, I mean, this is where you need to go. This is
Yeah.
the stuff that started it all. It's the creepy factor that gets you. It's the
Yeah.
suspense.
The
You
old
didn't need it.
the old blueprints of it. Where it
Right,
comes from, the beginning of this genre basically.
right, exactly. And
A lot of movies are missing that these days, and I also think
mhm,
about all the movies that was lost and all that kind of stuff that they mentioned earlier and the Vault thing, and it's just like that's crazy, dude.
you're right, Hunty. Words are hard. But I mean, these are even the Hammer films. Oh, and
Oh yeah.
Tom just said that. There love the
Yeah,
Hammer
Tom
films and
Satter
Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing,
and Peter
and the others they had in
Cushing,
there.
yeah.
Hmm.
And there was like jump scares and blood. It wasn't like that how it is mostly
No,
these days. And that was so great about because it was organic, it was fun, it was it was interesting, and they really put the fear in it. You feel the fear. You don't
yeah,
need a jump scare. It's a fear in it, the
hmm,
intenseness of it. And
right,
that's where the Hammer films were so goddamn good. I love the Hammer films because of that. And the
yeah,
storytelling was good. And Christopher
yeah.
Lee as Dracula. God
Hmm.
damn, I love him as Dracula. And Peter Cushing,
Well,
them two, both of them on
yeah,
working with each other was amazing.
yeah. Cushing as Von Helsing, but then he played Doctor Frankenstein in a
Yes, he played
Frankenstein movie. I
exactly.
mean, he was good guy, bad guy, every guy. Peter Cushing was, and
Yeah,
they used them. Well, they used all of them well in there, honestly.
yeah,
And even the Universal films, again, it's that suspense that you had, the what was going on. I mean, people out there talk about being goth. Well, you ain't goth until you watch these things.
yeah,
You ain't goth until you watched Lugosi as Dracula, or watch Boris Karloff as Frankenstein's monster. are the Hammer
Yep.
films where you have all that.
Exactly.
You want
If
goth,
if you're
that's
not
where you
in on
go.
any of that kind of stuff, you ain't goth at all.
Right. And I'm
You're a
serious about it.
poser.
Yeah. If you don't appreciate that, these films, and just soak them in, uh, we don't really have that. I mean, we had sparks of that, like Fright Night. Even
Yep.
American Werewolf in London had, it had your jump and blood, but it still had that feeling from the Hammer films and such. It was
Yep.
that,
Exactly.
it was on that line that was balancing out, which made that film so great. Um, and that's lost. We need more
Yep.
horror like this. Enough of the friggin' zombies already. Let's
Yeah, we
get
have too
back
much of
to,
it. The
yeah. I
basics.
mean,
Let's go back to the
right.
basics.
I mean, when you have Bela Lugosi speaking, he's the villain. He's talking to you. Listen to the, well, listening to the howls and the music that they make. Or I
Yep.
do not eat meat. I do not drink wine. And he's talking and having the conversation and the menace that you have on there. It's like, ooh, this is a creepy situation. Or even Lon Chaney, right? I got that right. Lon Chaney
Got
Jr.
it.
as the Wolfman. Okay. I hope your brother approves. I just want to make sure he's happy with me. I know he's still mad about me with Star Trek.
No, he is not
Um,
mad about you with the motion picture.
but I mean, when you can see the angst and everything with Lon Chaney Jr. being the Wolfman, not fully knowing what's all going on. It's like he's cursed. Which, of course, the film had Bela Lugosi in it as well. Uh, but go watch that. Oh no, it's in black and white. I don't care. Grow up.
Yep. Well, I
These
love
films
black and
have
white.
so much.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
dude, I still can watch black and white stuff. It's so
Oh,
great. It can be very effective when it's not
right.
color. So,
Even more effective sometimes.
sometimes, yeah.
And it's like go back and people watch these films. I mean, growing up, didn't have much of a choice because you had those late night horror films, and you watch them at night. And what were they filming? Showing. They were showing the Universal monsters. They were
Yes.
showing. They were. Sometimes you even get the Hammer stuff thrown in. Uh, but so
Yep.
we grew up. So we had the color. We had the black and white. We loved it all.
Yep.
And
It-
you
mhm.
need you need to see these to appreciate, and we need to have this type of horror come back.
Yeah, I don't
Really.
know if it ever will. They
Oh,
kind
it
of
will. It will because
hopefully.
let's face it, the
It
hack
depends
and
who's
slash stuff.
working on it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's just it. I mean, it will come back if you start having the right people. But then again, Hollywood would come back if they had the right people doing the job. I mean, all across the board. It's easy to do a slasher film. It's easy to do a slasher film, honestly. Yes, it was shocking when it first came out. When Carpenter came out, and I can't remember who was involved with the other one. Halloween
Well, because it
and
inspired things. It inspired stuff like
right, Friday the
Castlevania,
13th.
for example, and some of this other stuff. Vampire the
Right,
Masquerade, other things. Yeah.
right.
Yep.
But I mean, I know that Friday the 13th and Halloween, those were boom. They were a
Yes.
surprising film, great, and of course, Night of the Living Dead as
Yes.
well. But
Yeah.
then they just got carried away. It's like, oh, let's
Yes, they
just
got
copy this
very
formula
carried
over
away.
and
Yeah.
over and over and over and over
Yep.
and over again. Do we really need to have another like Saw 13? Do we need another Friday the 13th? At least Friday the 13th Part 3 was original.
Jason Goes to Hell. Jason Goes to Space.
Well,
Jason sat on a
yeah,
rock.
Jason versus Freddy or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jason
and
takes a
also
shit.
was
You know,
funny with Night of the Living Dead. You kind of have two different sequels when it comes to that because both of them took it to two
hmm
different directions,
Yep.
and that was the interesting part with it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go this way, I'm gonna go this way,
Yeah.
and it's just like, so you have kind of two universes of that
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah, you had Romero who was doing more serious, and the other guy who went and started doing a little bit less serious, a little bit more, a little bit more humor in it, and
Yeah,
some of those
and
films are
really
absolutely fun.
dark and different
Hmm.
and all this kind of stuff. I do remember one of them. It's the favorite of the other versions, the other sequels. It's when the girlfriend dies. He brings her back, and she puts nails in her body and stuff like that. And that was part of the not
Is that part of?
official
Oh,
official storyline, but it's
well,
kind of they went both
well, you had
different.
those full moon films and stuff like that, like Reanimator and such as well.
Yeah, yeah, you did.
And you had one where the guy brought his girlfriend back using technology, and she became a went around and was offing people certain ways. I can't remember the name of the film. It was a good film. The ending was a little but the film itself was good.
Yeah.
That was experimenting. Let's do new things. What can we do with it? Now we're stuck in the rut, just like everything else in Hollywood. It's the same old thing.
Yeah, that's why we have so many remakes and so on. It's just
And
crazy. Remastering
sequels
something, I'm
and
fine, but sequels, remakes, I think personally the Scream franchise has gone too long. I think they should have stopped at 4, but they just kept going, and I just didn't care about 5, 6, and whatever. I think there's only been 2 more made after 4. I think I'm not sure. But they're going
and
crazy with the Scream thing. They're going crazy with bringing
yeah.
old stuff back. Even when they brought back Friday the 13th, it wasn't that well received. And it's not like I don't like the actor who's playing Freddy, but it just
Mhm.
wasn't that well received. Yeah.
Oh, again,
Well,
when they brought back Jason in the remake of Friday 13, that is the best remake we have ever ever had in a horror flick. One, that movie respected the source material. They respected it. They added upon it. They made it a lot better, more contained. Because one
mhm,
problem that the old Friday 13 movies that after a certain point they started, oh, we're gonna go to Powers, we're gonna, make him go to, New York and whatever, and it's becoming more comedy. The writers forgot who Jason really was
mhm,
because suddenly he was afraid of water, and I'm just like, dude, this motherfucker goes down in water like all the time. He's not afraid of water, but you're adding that he's afraid of water now just because he drowned. No, he was never afraid to go down into the water
no,
and stuff like that. So you had the writers at the end didn't know what to do with Jason, and then you had Jason Goes to Hell, the first movie that didn't have the Friday the 13th name, and the reason is because some of the rights stuff was going on, and also the guy who created the movie, he said it himself. I didn't want to make a Friday the 13th movie. That's not what I created. He wanted to do an Evil Dead movie, so
mhm,
that's why that Jason Goes to Hell movie is different because it's basically just Evil Dead with Jason in it.
mhm,
Because that's what he wanted. And that's wrong. You don't do that with a franchise. Just because you
no,
want to create another movie, you don't do that. And that's it. It's like I said, yeah, it has interesting aspects, but basically making Jason into a deadite and basically claiming he was never the same person after he died. Dude, even when he died, he was still the same Jason from the beginning, from the get go. That was like his thing, even though he came back, and why he still did a lot of this thing. So that's why I say that the remake that they did was good at the time, and you have to watch the
mhm,
extended cut. That's better. But they did something that was respecting the source material and adding upon it and fixing certain stuff that they messed up later in the original movies, if you know what
mhm,
I mean. So that's why I appreciate that movie so well. And one thing the remake did, they had the goofy humor. They had the old school humor, the practical effects. They still had all the old stuff that we love from the old movies. So that's why it was really great.
Well, talk about something that respected the original material and is an absolute hysterical film, and everybody should watch it here with Halloween season. And that's Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, or it should be Frankenstein's monster. And there's respect to the original material, but it's absolutely hysterical. And you got Lon Chaney Jr. You got Bela Lugosi in it. Uh, so you have these classic monsters. You even have a vocal cameo from Vincent Price as the Invisible Man. So
Yep.
I suggest when Halloween comes around, I mean, there's two lighthearted films you have to watch, and that's Young Frankenstein from Mel Brooks and Abbott and Costello, because both those movies respect the source material, and they were able to work it all in together. There's love made in those films, just like
Yep.
Fright Night had that love, just like American Werewolf in London had that love. So I want to have people coming
Yeah.
back in and
And
knowing that, again, like Cash and I were talking about on Tuesday, sometimes less is more. Just like in
exactly.
Psycho. I
That's
mean,
right.
Exactly.
Janet
Less is
leaves in the
more.
shower. Right. You never
Yes.
see her naked,
No.
but you know she's
Exactly.
naked back there.
Yeah.
You never see the knife touch her. You never see the person doing it, even though we know who it is. And if you don't know who it is, where have you been for the last 50 years?
Yeah, what have you been doing? And
Yeah,
also,
and then you have the chocolate syrup going down the drain
Yes.
representing blood. I mean, that was less, and it was more impactful than if we actually did see it. And of course, her grabbing the shower curtains, pulling it down, you see her laying in the tub
yeah,
dead.
exactly. And I also want to say, hail to Comic
Oh,
Relief Crusader. Hail, brother. It's
Mike,
good
What's
to
up,
see you,
dude?
man. And I
Mike.
also want to say, because we have two different sequels of Night of the Living Dead, the other one that I'm talking about also was Return of the Living Dead.
Hmm.
And that's also when you have the Return of the Living Dead 3 is when the girl is getting resurrected and she has, like, impales her with a lot of these kind of nails in her body. And,
Hmm.
it's kind of weird, but, so it was kind of funny how they separated two universes to different things, basically.
Hmm.
But it's what do you prefer? What do you want to watch? It's all what you prefer. I prefer Return of the Living Dead because that's what I love the third one. I grew up watching it. I remember being like a 10-year-old, 9-year-old watching that movie.
See, I'm so tired of the zombie thing right now. I mean, I'm absolutely tired. I don't want to see another zombie
Yeah, no,
movie.
I'm not a
Yeah.
big zombie guy myself, but what I liked with the third one, it wasn't like the typical zombie thing when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's not a typical. It was like it was so different. But for me, I never been a big fan of zombie stuff. Always been critical to it.
Yeah. I
The,
just recently.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. I.
there are stuff,
Yes.
there are stuff of zombies that is fun,
Yes.
but it's so overdone and so
Right.
boring, and it's just like we know what's gonna happen. It's the same shit every time. There's no,
Yeah.
intenseness or anything, and that's why I also say when it comes to South Korea, for example, the reason I enjoy their zombie stuff a lot more is because one, sometimes they go really serious. You get the feeling of being scared. You get the feeling of being like,
Mhm.
oh shit, now the intenseness is happening. It's not like jump scares, and the typical
No.
American things in Hollywood, but they get
No.
like, Train to Busan, a great movie,
Mhm.
damn great movie.
Can I just interrupt for a moment here, Jace?
And no, never.
Nerdles!
Yeah, of course,
Nerdles!
nerd.
Nerdles.
Nerd!
Nerdles. Nerdles.
Nerdles!
Nerdles.
Nerdles!
Nerdles.
What's the matter, DJ? Am I not turtle enough to be part of your turtle club?
But no, Train to Busan is a really great South Korean zombie movie, and it feels so different, and it feels like more old school, and they get like how you say it, they get what zombie movies should be, not trying to be like old Hollywood. They're gonna be tough guys,
Mhm.
which gonna shoot everybody. I'm cool, blah blah blah. They're not like that. It goes back more to the basics, like living with Night of the Living Dead, the original stuff, right? It goes back more to that. And in South Korea, you have two different types of people making zombie things. You have the things that they don't take it serious at all. It's just full comedy. It's just fun to watch because they're not trying to scare you. They're not trying to make it like, oh my god, it's a zombie thing. It's like, yeah, it's typical South Korean comedy, fun and interesting storylines with that are good written, even though it's funny. Sometimes that's just their humor. But then you have like Trains to Busan, who's that's more serious, great actors, and you have the yeah, that's why I say South Koreans, in my view, makes better zombie movies than America. That's just how I'm
Yeah.
gonna say it these days. Zombie movies back in like Night with the Living Dead and stuff. Then it worked. They had a blueprint for make certain stuff work. But then they lost it, became too Hollywood file, too Hollywood, too overproduced, too boring. We know everything. But no. So Train to Busan and South Korea does really well job with that. And I'm not a big zombie guy, but I will watch zombie stuff from South Korea anytime. So I recommend it if you haven't seen Train to Busan. It's really great, really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an interesting thing. You know, you have. I'm going to go to the role playing game stuff now, but you got zombies in there, but then you have like zombie lords, or you have zombies
Yeah,
that actually have some sort of consciousness, and they do talk and all that. That starts to be more interesting when you got this thing coming at you. Kind of like Griffin Dunn in American Werewolf in London, when every time he shows up, he's decaying even more, and talking to his friend. Um, and that starts being interesting. This mindless thing sometimes is boring. But again, you had Dracula. He spoke. You had well, they didn't have Frankenstein's monster necessarily do it,
yeah,
but
yeah.
had Frankenstein himself, and others. But there's still an intelligence to the Frankenstein monster,
Yep.
um, and that makes it more interesting. He might not talk, but the gears are working up there, not necessarily in the right way, but they're working, and I find that more satisfying than something shove at you.
Yep.
Um, and if you start doing pushing the borders with that with the zombies, where they are uh, they are retaining some of their memory. They're just corrupted, and they can still talk. I think one of the best things was, and forget about the freaking Will Smith bullshit. Um, Maybe go with the Mega Man or go with the Vincent Price one. But I Am Legend. You read that book, and yeah, they're kind of vampire-ish, but they're also a little bit in that zombie sense, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're tormenting and berating the lone survivor in the book, and um, you know, every night they come out, and it's the same thing, and it's like that's more interesting because you start getting that psychological as well as the other fear,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
and we've lost that psychological freaking people out. It's just
Yep.
all for the gore, all for the show. Well,
No,
let's start bringing
exactly.
back that psychological along with that, and boy, that'll give you a good ride.
Yeah. You know what we need? We need a martial arts zombie movie where zombies are doing martial arts.
Oh
Why
my
not?
But
god. Sure.
No, no,
yeah, yeah.
honestly, why not?
That could be pretty
That
entertaining.
that would be something new. You have like a zombie that dress ups like
A
Bruce
zombie
Lee.
that does martial arts,
That
more
would be
aware of
interesting.
what they're doing. Yeah,
But it
Hmm.
would have been fun. It would have been something new. We haven't seen it before.
yeah.
It could have been something
They
fun just
do
for the
they
laughs
do
of
And,
it.
martial
and
arts and then they start eating you. Yeah.
well, the thing is, zombies. Zombies don't necessarily eat people. I mean, that
Not
that started
always.
coming into the Hollywood thing. But when it comes around to actual what they speak about zombies, that wasn't the case. But it would work because think about it this way: a lot of martial arts moves, just like dance moves, and that's why martial arts and dancing and fighting are all kind of in that same family because it's how you move, and it becomes muscle memory. Well, if there's one
Yeah,
thing that we probably still left over in something is that muscle memory. So you're fighting the muscle memory, and you have to
yeah.
get by that.
Look at
So,
that. Barrison he's on point. He's on point.
well, see, that's just it. I can come up with this shit. Why
Yeah,
can't Hollywood? You gave
yeah,
me an
exactly.
idea, and I ran with it there.
Exactly, exactly. No, that is so great. And I also want to say, to people out there, if you want a good zombie movie, watch Train of Busan. It also has an animated prequel, animated prequel, and it also has a sequel side movie with some other characters. It's set in the same universe and the same time as Train of Busan. They connect really well and all that kind of stuff. And I also saw that America wants to do a fucking remake of it. Hollywood, stay the fuck away from that franchise, you fucking pieces of shit. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, but stay away from it.
Hunty. I think Full Moon Entertainment did something like that in the '80s, and I can't remember if Tim Thomerson was in it or not. But I think they did do something like that in the '80s. I have to look that up.
Yeah, I also remember
But that's a
when
great
they were.
idea. That's a great idea, Hunty. I mean, honestly, why we're doing a better job than Hollywood here, Hunty,
Yeah,
uh, uh,
all of
Jace,
us are,
myself,
because
not Cash, but
Mm.
us.
Exactly, but
He's
no,
too
we
corrupted by
get a lot
Hollywood.
of these ideas, and we are people who likes to write and make stories and escapism and all that. So of course,
Oh,
that's what
hey,
we
take care, Mike.
want. See you later.
Have a
See you
good one,
later,
man.
Mike. Hope you're doing gonna have a great
Good night,
one,
man.
man. See you tomorrow. And I also just remember you
Transform and
reminded me
roll out.
when we talked about some, martial arts, and it just reminded me of one of the last Hammer films with Dracula and all that kind of stuff, with the kung fu stuff. You know, the last one, the weird one with a bit kung fu stuff.
Hmm.
If you remember that,
I'll have to think about it.
Christopher Lee was not Dracula in that one.
Hmm. I have to. Yeah, I have to try to remember it. I didn't hear everything you said. My apologies. I was taking a look at Hunty's comment here, and I was getting my brain going on that one. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right on that one, Hunty. I think they had some books where you had the zombies, and there were the double S's from World War II. There was, I think, one that had it that way, and they were still fighting as basically zombies or some sort like that. So they're out there with their MP40s and Mauser rifles and stuff like that. But I know there's a few that did that. But that was from the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah.
Remember
So
when
the movie
that
was
caused the
called.
code?
So the movie was called The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. Uh,
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, and that was, it was the British, Hong Kong, and the Hammer film production. They worked together to make a movie. This was not the greatest idea to ever do, but they made Christopher Lee was not part of it, but Peter Cushing, of course, was.
Hmm.
He was still part, still playing Van Helsing and all that,
Hmm.
and it's kung fu,
Yeah.
it's they continue the story in a way, with kung fu and all these kinds of. It's weird as it takes away what was good with the old Hammer stuff, but they
Yeah.
they just did something weird with that movie. And it's like, yeah, I can understand if Christopher Lee didn't want to be part of it. If that was the
Hmm.
case, I can understand it. But it's like it was something unique. That's what I'm talking about, like with some with kung fu or martial arts. They did
Hmm.
something unique. Something wasn't really done before. It's like, yeah, they tried something. They worked with another company. They want to try to do something new. It didn't quite work, but it was still fun. It's still a fun movie. It's not a great movie in that kind of sense, but it was
Hmm.
fun. You know,
Right.
something original. Vampires doing kung fu, basically.
Kung Fu Zombies. Do 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 do. Kung Fu Zombies. Yeah. I'm
Yep.
trying to remember something here. Um. Um. Edward Edward von Sloan, who played Von Helsing in the original one. I probably got the last name wrong there. He was actually born nearby where I live now in
Really?
Minnesota. Really, yes.
That's
Uh,
cool.
and let's see. I think in Frankenstein, that's Frankenstein, as it happened during the movie. I'm trying to look that up there and get the cast list off of that one. Um, Frankenstein. Not the Marvel. I want. There we go. The 31 film.
Replace movies with monsters. My phone auto filled it. Okay,
Mm,
understand.
mm-hmm. So yeah, Edward Van Sloan, who was from around here, where I live. Um, actually New Trier, Minnesota, and then there was okay. There was another one that was in these horror films that was from around here as well. It surprised the hell out of me. So yeah, there's a little bit of Minnesota pride with these films. Come on, no wonder why we love it. There are people,
Yeah,
man. There are
yeah,
friggin' people.
yeah, exactly, exactly. But no, we are gonna wrap it up. We are gonna far past the 2 hour mark, of course.
Yeah, because you made me read a story when we should have just ended it there. Come on, we were at the end. You didn't need to torture me, man. Come on, man.
If if
What are
if
you
you
doing,
didn't
man?
if you didn't remind me earlier in the stream, I would probably maybe I would have forgotten.
Well, if Kilton was here, he would have read the story for him, and it would have been done and over with. I'm coming
uh,
after you, Kilton.
yeah, it's gonna be a
Let me
big
down, man.
battle. Just wait to next year. We're gonna have, we're gonna have a rumble ring. We're gonna have gloves. We're gonna have like a YouTube fight. You need to pay to watch it, pay to come, of course.
Ooh,
But
yeah,
we are gonna have it to a decent price, and you're gonna see those two people knock the shit out of each other. We're gonna see who wins first.
yeah. Two hits,
No.
I'm down.
But other than that, we are gonna start wrapping it up. So we are gonna go around the table as always, of course. So we are gonna start with, of course, cash money. Please
Oh, all
promote
right.
yourself. What's coming up
So
next?
because of Baron's misfortune tomorrow, no, I'm kidding. But we're gonna do the stream of State of Decay 2 at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if we
Sorry.
play less, it's because of Baron. It's always Baron's fault.
Oh,
And
come on. We got the Mountain Dew 2 liters and we got the cheese doodles. We're good, man. It's Friday night and we're
We're
gamers.
good, man. We're good.
that's
Come
right.
on, man. Come
So
on,
that'll
man.
be fun. That'll be at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on both the Phantom Hooligans and Cash Money 007 over on Twitch. So that'll be a lot of fun for a few hours. And then I'm still working on my video, so I got to get that done. Like I said, I don't want to curse. I don't want to say evil things, whatever, if I can help
Too
it.
late.
But but those are what's going on right now on my channel. And then I'll also promote at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Central. We have cranky old fans on the Cash Money Madness channel over on Rumble
Wow.
because as
Yeah.
Baron would say, we're snooty. So yes.
Yeah, we are.
So that's why it's exclusively on Rumble, because we're a bunch of snooty bitches sometimes. But but yeah, that's
Well
what's
said,
going on.
brother.
That's what's going on with me.
No
So
argument here.
uh-huh. And then of course the Joker video will be coming out probably next
Yeah, I'm
week.
waiting for it, man. You
Yeah,
talked about it was gonna
a
be,
little bit. Yeah, it'll come out. It's
George
gonna
R. Martin, man.
another
He's
thing. I know, no, not even close. But he would
Floppy
wait months
wieners,
and
floppy wieners.
he would wait he would wait a long time. So no, that Joker video is going to have to come out. Unfortunately, as I said, the Velma video and the Joker video are the ones where I don't want to curse as much as possible. I want to put out good information on there. So, but yeah, that's what's coming out on the channels. And then back to you, Jace and Baron. So yeah.
okay. And then we, of course, we have Mr. Baron Orman Tag. Let's
So, the
get
reason why we are going to be late tomorrow for starting the game, I'm going to be on Apion's channel on The Hill I Die On. That's going to be at, what did I say, 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, or I can't remember what time. My time here, 9 o'clock? I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to be on their channel, and we're going to be talking about the movie Looker, a 1982 film with Albert Finney, James Colburn, and of course Susan Day from the Partridge Family, and was it L.A. Law or something like that? I can't remember what else she played in. So please join us for that, and of course I'll be hopping in with the lads to do gaming on Friday. I like to call it Friday Night Hooligans. So
Ooh.
also with that, I want to let people know that I can't get rid of this guy. So every Sunday and Wednesday, we appear together on Pacific 414. Doc Pop himself, Mike's show. Basically, it is Pop Talk. And on Wednesday, it is at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time or Daylight Time. We haven't had the switch yet. 6 o'clock Eastern. And then on Sunday, noon Central and 1 o'clock Eastern. And hey, hi girls, how you doing? Um, and of course, we talk about many subjects on there. On the Wednesday night show, the last hour is generally Rumble only because that's when we get Snooty over there. That gave us the idea of the Snooty. So please join us for that. And then on Monday, will be at around 5 o'clock Central Time, will be the premiere of the latest episode of Contraband Police. See what shenanigans I get in the great socialist republic I serve at the border. Who knows who might try to sneak through? Who gets caught? And who is okay to go? And I send them to the Rocket Ruble for drinks and girls. So please join. Go in. It's pre-recorded, but it's a premiere. So please give a watch, and I hope you enjoy. Other than that, I can't think of anything else because Cash actually promoted Cranky Old Fans for once. So
I did.
I'm shocked. I almost had a heart attack here. So back to you,
Oh.
Jace.
Well said, well said. And other than that, of course, tomorrow you will find me if Comic Relief is going to do his normal stream. You will find me tomorrow on his show where we do talk about funny news and, of course, some pop culture and having a great time. And yeah, you can find me there on Saturday. I'm not going to do any Skullcast on Saturday. But as fast as Tom is feeling better and stuff like that, we will do stream again with the Skullcast. I don't know if I'm gonna do any Skullcast before he comes back. I have been thinking about it and trying to get some guests on or something like that. But I also have needed a little break and trying to enjoy life a little. Cause in a couple of years, streaming has become everything that I do. Working has become my whole life, and I have forgotten a lot about my normal life because I'm a workaholic, and I'm trying my best to not be as a workaholic and trying to separate a little. And you guys know what I mean. Trying to get certain stuff in my life a little bit more on place. So I remember there is a real life other than just the work life. um, and next week, of course, if I will do a Skullcast, it will be on Wednesday. But on, of course, Thursday, it will be the Beyond and a lot more news and stuff that we're going to talk about and see what happens this weekend and the beginning of next month. And also on Tuesday, I forgot that. Also on Tuesday, I will probably be with uh, Comic Relief Crusader again and having a great time doing the Tuesday show of the same show we do on Fridays. And I'm working on a lot of other stuff. I am gonna finish up the Acolyte re-edit that I'm doing. I've come really far with it. I'm at the endings and stuff like that right now that I'm editing on. Uh, and then I'm gonna go a little bit back, look at some other scenes, and see if there's small things I can do here and there to change it. But I'm excited to get it done, and I'm excited for the people who actually wants to watch it and review it and see the skills that I have in the editing world and stuff like that. Working on some new intros and outros and other stuff too. And I'm also working on merch. So a lot more merch will come out next year that I'm really excited to reveal when it comes out. But other than that, as I always say before we wrap up a stream, just remember, life's too short. Make the most of it. And we in 540 Studio, we love you. We appreciate you. And none of us would have been here today if it wasn't for all of you peeps out there. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the inspiration. It means the world to us. And also with that, I'm not a Jenna Ortega simp. Good night, everybody. And remember,
Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. You're a stupid cunt. Suck my dick.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet.
Simping is such a major turnoff to women.